Hey there, you're listening to You Still Go On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going about?
That.
All right, Joseph. It is May already.
Yeah, May 2nd.
I didn't even realize it was May until May 2nd.
It is good.
I was like, what? Like
I
I
saw
saw
it.
some TikTok about May Day and like the history of May 1st and how it's really like a labor holiday and
Oh, yeah.
everything. United States made sure to change that so people didn't know that. So they went to basically crush labor movements. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like, Europe and all that around the world, they know it's May. And that's a different story. But I was like, what?
It's crazy.
Now I'm like, okay, this year's over to me.
It's like half over. I mean, it's like
It is
literally
almost
almost
half
half
over.
over. Yeah.
We're literally at the end of the we're in the end almost at the end of the second quarter of the year. I mean, this is like crazy. It's like
I was
time
sitting.
calm down, time, slow up, buddy.
I was sitting around and I was like, I got to call out the AC people to do like the pre-season tune-up. You know, they
Yeah,
wash it out and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I'll probably do that in like a month or so. And then I'm like, it's like fucking May. I mean,
I
I've got
know.
to
I
do this.
gotta
I've
call
got to do
too
this
and do
now.
that. Yeah, I gotta do that too. Actually, I'm gonna probably call tomorrow. See, the thing is here, it's interesting with Colorado. It's like I remember sometimes it's a pain in the butt because like it has to be like at least above 65 for them to do
Yeah,
it. In
right.
Colorado, we can get like 80-degree weather like all week. And then out of nowhere, it'll be like 50 for a couple of days
Yeah.
in
Yeah, that's
June.
nice.
It's nice, but for the tune-up thing, it's like
Right, right.
so then they have
Yeah.
to change it, and it's like, I don't know, whatever. Well,
Eh,
but Joseph, we're not here to talk about
no.
uh
Time.
time and dates and minutes and months and weeks. We're here to talk about other stuff. What are
Yes.
we going to talk about this week, Joseph?
All right, so we're gonna start by talking about the White House Correspondents' dinner. And then we got some pop culture stuff. We're gonna talk about a little bit about the Simpsons, about AI slash maybe AI thing called Balloon Head. We're talking about
Quote unquote AI.
yep. We're gonna talk about Bob Odenkirk, David Cross show that the algorithm canceled. We're talking about Cobra Kai. It's got a new season coming out. I think the final season.
Yep.
We're talking about the latest episode of the X-Men, which I caught this evening. We're talking a little bit about Seinfeld. I guess he's got a movie about toaster strudels. That's
And how everything is woke, the left
yeah.
has destroyed comedy. What's the
Yes.
deal?
Yeah.
Why am I repeating extreme right-wing talking points?
Right.
Kramer.
We're going to talk about that. And then we're talking about some serious news stuff. We're going to talk about the campus protests, talk about Lauren Boebert making a trip to the combat zone. We're talking about Donald
That side of the
Trump,
stuff.
Donald Trump on trial and awake for some of it.
Farting
Uh,
himself to sleep or
God,
farting
it's so
himself
funny.
up.
Right.
Al Joe said on the White House Correspondents' dinner that he farts himself awake.
We're going to talk about three vice presidential contenders.
Three?
I believe Meatball Ron
Oh,
DeSantis.
Is he? All right, well, we'll talk about that.
He won't be, but we're talking about Ron DeSantis,
You
Kristi.
ran a heinous campaign. No one likes you, and that's why I want you to be my VP.
Yes, a shrill
You
little
suck.
lizard person. We're talking about Kristi Noem, probably the most hated person in America right now, and JD Vance.
Who
Then
sucks?
we're talking a little bit about
Eyelash King.
Arizona, Arizona uh, launching itself boldly into the 21st century.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks to the pen of the governor, progressive
yeah,
they voted for.
Yeah, that's it. We're talking about Hunter Biden suing Fox News.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Spotify briefly, and then the China version of the Tesla truck. That's it. It's the whole show.
Well, they sound like this is not a lot,
It's
but
a lot. Yeah.
and there's some juicy stuff in here.
Oh yeah.
Thick
Yeah.
and juicy content.
Yes.
But
Right.
before we get into everything, do you guys like these videos? Do you guys like these podcasts? You
Yeah.
like what you like what we say. You like their funny little banters or little back and forths. There's a link in the captions of or YouTube. I don't know if you have the link anywhere else, but it's to buy us a coffee, and
Yeah.
we would appreciate that. I
Yeah.
think like what we do, you want to support the show, so me and Joseph can buy a coffee for once.
Well, over the summer it'd be an iced coffee. So
I like my coffee hot. A nice 100-degree day. I take a nice hot cup of coffee. I pour
yes.
it on my head, and then I die.
Right.
And then I get scalding burns and pass out. Just,
Yes.
just, just something I like to do. It helps me get through the day.
Oh yeah.
Well,
We all got
actually,
our thing.
and then I wake up a month later after with a couple of skin grafts
Skin
and
grafts. Right.
a little bit of a coma I was in.
Oof.
Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
that's
All
how you
right.
time travel, guys. You want to time travel? Get in a coma.
Yeah, time's relative that way.
Is that true? Okay. Do people really still wake up? Like, do people actually
Yes.
wake up from comas like that have been in it for 10 years and they wake up and they're like, what's the deal with?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think it's
That's
common by
not
any
some
means.
bullshit in movies and TV shows. Like,
I think
still
I
a
think
thing
I think it may be portrayed a little differently in movies.
where they just get up,
Yeah, because
or
like
their body should be completely atrophied.
exactly in reality, unless you've been receiving pretty regular like physical therapy treatments over the
Like they're
course
moving
of
your legs while you're
yes.
like,
Well, they can also do things. I believe they can do things where they put like very low level electrodes on your body, and the electrical impulses
that's what
just
they
sort
did in
of.
the Matrix when they get
Oh, okay.
Neo out of the pod. The first thing that happens is that they show him in a bed and he's getting all these
Okay.
electrodes, and they said he's never used
Yeah.
and he's never used any of this stuff before because he's been in a pod his entire life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but
So
it does happen.
but in movies and TV they always have like the guy or girl gets up and they're like, what happened? And
Yeah, I don't think it's
what
quite that way.
happened? Okay. Well,
Right.
speaking of time travel, the White
Yeah.
House Correspondents' Dinner. I don't know
Yeah.
how that involves time travel. There was no reference to time travel.
Oh, not
But
necessarily.
again, this might be the last White House Correspondents' Dinner ever, or it will be if Trump gets in. It will be the last
Yeah.
that has a president or anyone from an administration appearing at it. Trump
Yeah.
was president, believe it or not. He was president for 4
Jeez.
years. It's hard to believe. Kind of like it's like that when Married with Children had the character Seven on, and then they
Oh
kind of
yeah.
forgot about him. And then there was an episode, I think, where Kelly was thinking about it, and Seven's head went across the screen. That's kind of like the Trump administration. It was like,
Yeah.
what was that? I mean, and he never appeared at the White House Correspondents' Dinner ever.
Right. He
He's
was always a little
a skin coward.
yep.
And only the first year he sent Sarah Huckabee to
Yes.
Sarah Huckleberry Hound to it, and Michelle Wolf made a like I didn't even think it was that funny of a joke. Think about her
I
eyeshadow.
remember this. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's the insult. I mean, I could say shit about like what's wrong with
Oh
your
yeah.
fucking head,
Right.
lady. I'd be up on stage and be like, lady, what the fuck happened to you?
You look like
Did
a
your dad
clock.
close the door on your head and just kept on slamming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
She
These are the
is.
jokes, folks.
Yeah. I remember
He had a
yeah.
smoky
Oof.
eyeshadow. How dare you?
So offended.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it. I'd be like, are you related to the sloth from Goonies? What is your cousin the Toxic Avenger? Like, what the fuck is going on here? You're like a
Oh yeah, she lends herself
so
to
and Picasso would be like, what the fuck is this?
yeah. Yeah, the
That would
White House
be fun.
Correspondents Dinner, Trump never participated because
Yeah,
he's real thin-skinned.
yeah.
They say
Hard.
in a lot of ways that's the White House Correspondents Dinner with Obama is what kind of launched Trump's revenge campaign
Yeah,
when,
the 2012 one. That was the one
yeah,
that made fun of him. Yeah, it was
yeah,
great.
that was really good. This one I thought was really good. I actually watched it when it was on. I didn't watch it carefully. I had it on and I was like wandering
I
around the
watched
house.
the segment, so like
Yes.
I watched the like 10 or 11 minute segment of Biden. Yeah,
Yep.
because most of it's like just awards being handed out.
Yeah.
People, it's boring as shit. No, you
Yeah.
only need to watch the president speak and then the comedian. And
Uh,
so I
yeah.
watched
I
Biden's.
watched
He
those
spoke for
clips
like
separately.
he spoke for 10 minutes, and then I watched another video with Colin Jost. It was fine. I thought Biden made some. I like that Biden brought up a good point about I'm sure some dipshit could say like he's pressuring the press or trying to use, but no, I think he's bringing up a good point. It's like you can't treat this like a horse race. You got a guy
Yeah.
who is a literal criminal in court, and you can't treat this as a normal election.
It's
Like,
not. Yeah.
and the fact is, the press does not report on the accomplishments of the administration at all. They never
No.
do. Uh, it's not sexy enough, and that why would you inform the electorate about like the accomplishments that get done? And yeah, what did they do? They just legalized or what they changed the
They,
weed, or they're gonna turn weed into
yes.
like a what is it called? Title
Like a
or
Schedule 2
class
drug or
one
something.
or something?
Yeah. They're making it so that it's less, it's less of a crime. Like it's not legal and it's not
No, it's not legal,
decriminalized.
but these are the starts to it. It's
Yes.
like, what
Yeah.
did you say to me? You didn't say it during the podcast, but you said something about progress. It's what is it? Slow
Mm.
steps, but at least you're moving forward or something.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean that's it. You got to keep moving forward. And
Right.
that's the whole game. That's 100% the game. And in a lot of ways like it's it's better, although it's frustrating it's with some things it's better to just advance slowly because you don't want a large reaction. Now I know
Yeah.
that doesn't like some things that's not a great argument like you can't tell like you couldn't tell a black student in the 1950s like hey let's work on you getting to go to school with baby
But
steps,
I
you know. I
don't
mean
think,
that
see, it's easy for us to say that now, but I don't think people realize that the the fight for that took decades.
yeah
So it was slow as shit.
it was and
We lived past that moment. It's like the same thing with like gay marriage. Like it happened in 2014 where the Supreme Court basically made it like legal across the land.
right
But that fight was decades in the making,
yeah
slowly with states either doing civil unions or going full on marriage. It's like anything. So the weed thing, these are slow steps.
right and they
So
built a good foundation. If you made weed legal tomorrow there would probably be some backlash somewhere, you know.
there'd be
Rich
a ton of
guys,
corruption and stuff. It would be
yeah
like a night. Yeah, it just would. Yeah, it would be a lot of backlash. It would be a mess. It would not. But making it less, taking the stigma out of it by
yeah.
making it more legal is how you do it.
And I think there's some like practical advantages. I think it makes medical marijuana easier to get. I think it kind of like lowers prices on medical marijuana. You can distribute it more widely and stuff. There's like a lot of like under the radar stuff that is
And the
real
other thing,
beneficial.
I don't know if you remember, but like back in the day, like it was like California. This is decades ago. California was like there were dispensaries or whatever. It was like medicinal.
Yeah.
But the federal government can just show up anytime and shut it down.
Oh yeah.
And they did it a lot during like the Bush administration.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Um yeah, I remember like a lot of towns when I lived in Portland in the 90s, they like decriminalized marijuana. They basically just said like we're not going to enforce this law. It's still technically illegal, but we're not going to enforce it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's good. The White House Correspondents Dinner is kind of a weird tradition. I think Biden puts value on it because not because it's like necessarily good or bad, but like that's normal. It's
He
normal
just
to
comes
have
off
that.
he comes off as friendly.
Yeah.
He's having a good time. he laughed at the jokes that Colin Jost made against him.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like I said, there's a stark difference. Trump is a humorless bully.
Yeah. When
And
he, yeah.
you can make the argument about the the White House press correspondence dinner being like this weird blend of like where it's people could say like, oh, this is corrupt media, should not be like meeting with politicians and whatever, but I don't know, some funny shit comes out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Some guys say that like the Colin Jost thing was weak and everything, and like, look at the Colbert or look at the Michelle Wolf. I was like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is like bad faith because I would say like George W. Bush was so horrible, and this when Stephen Colbert did it, it was like 2006. So this was like post 5 years, or this is like 3 years into the Iraq War,
yeah.
which was a fucking disaster. Post Katrina.
Yep.
So the Colbert thing made sense. It was funny. And let me tell you, he did not get well received by the audience.
No.
I thought it was amazing. I don't
Yeah, I
think people
remember that.
realize how good that was. Like, if you were not alive or you were not paying attention back then, you couldn't say shit about Bush for years publicly
Yeah.
without getting some kind of backlash.
Yep. Yeah.
And the fact that he did that and he did it to Bush's face. And listen, I'll give Bush this. He was there.
Yeah, he showed up. Yeah.
He showed up. He was right there getting all the jokes. I loved what did Colbert said. He's like, this everyone's saying this administration, they're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Well, I say no, sir. They're rearranging the deck chairs on the Hindenburg. That was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, Colin Jost was fine. He's funny, like his little faces he makes, like anti stinker, like when he makes like
Yeah.
a joke and sometimes it doesn't land. I did think the funniest joke of the night was just like him calling out his wife and saying how she loves. I agree. The reason why he got to go was because everyone gets to meet her after, and she doesn't like her privacy. She's really happy to meet everybody. She's
Yeah.
sitting there smiling. Really funny.
I like Colin Jost with Michael Che. I think they pair really well together.
I like when Michael Che sets him up with like racist.
Yeah. It's always funny.
Yeah.
And I think they pair really well together.
They
I don't
should have
know
done it together, honestly.
Yeah. I was
had
gonna
it.
say I don't know how much I love both of them separately. Like
Yeah.
I don't dislike them, but I just think they're so much
They're a
better
good comedy
together.
team.
Yeah. And that would have been really funny if they had done it together,
Yeah.
done some.
I think so. He made reference to Michael Che. Didn't Biden make a joke about saying he wished Michael Che was there or something?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I like the White House Correspondents' dinner. I like all of those things, the theory of them and kind of the familiarity of them, like the Met Gala, the Kennedy Center
like
Awards, all that kind of shit.
No buzz this year. I heard no one talk about the White House Correspondents' dinner at all, even on Twitter.
Yeah.
No one fucking talked about it. I didn't see like one reference. Biden made a funny joke though. He said that people keep saying like Congress is theater and they shouldn't do that. This is like real thing. He goes, and if it was theater, Lauren Boebert would have been kicked out.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like how pathetic it to be that you get called out on the president on that. Like,
yeah, I think no one was real into it because like there wasn't a lot of tension about it. Biden's genuinely seen as like a decent guy. The country's running reasonably well.
not sitting there going like, oh, typical liberal media. Of course, I'm right.
Yeah.
Will say, well, that's because the media works with them. It's like the fuck out of here. There's like a million right-wing media channels out there that I'm sure if had his way, they wouldn't exist. You know what I mean? They make his day miserable, and his son's going to be suing them all.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I'm trying to think if there was like, I mean, like I said, there wasn't like anything that he made a reference to his, I guess, Conscious's grandfather died or whatever. That's like kind of funny. It's like he's bringing up Biden. I'm like, you're just like kind of aging him, actually.
Well, he was. There was a funny. The way he's told it was real funny. He's like, I guess Colin Jost's grandfather was a firefighter on Staten Island.
Yeah,
and he said, that there were like. That like 90% of Staten Island voted for Trump, or whatever.
That's like Trump's favorite part of New York.
And but he said my grandfather in the last election voted for you because you're a decent man, and I thought it was a really good story. Like, I think there probably were a bunch of people like Colin Jost's grandfather that were Republicans or had always voted for Republicans. And when they got into the ballot box, they're like, I'm gonna vote for Biden and like roll the dice. I think he's a decent guy. I just think that that feels right to me. I don't know if that
Well, I was talking to someone this weekend and we were having this conversation, and he said that Biden is he thinks Biden's like a Republican or something. Like he thinks
oh,
like a right-wing Democrat or something. And I said, but his administration has probably been
pretty
more
progressive,
progressive
yeah.
than like the past, probably more progressive than the Obama administration.
Probably the
And
most progressive since Johnson,
I
honestly.
mean, there's actions that are happening. And again, like we just said, it may not be as fast and
Yeah.
want, but like compared to Clinton, compared to Obama, like there's
Obama was
actions.
going to put Merrick Garland on the court, you know? And Biden put Jackson on the court, who's like a young, sharp liberal, and a
Yeah,
black woman. I mean, like
yeah.
he's nominating the right people, he's
Well,
advocating the right
I said to him,
policies.
who cares? Because he goes, yeah, but he is. I'm like, yeah, but who gives a shit? And he's like, well, that means he has to be like, I don't know, push forward. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if
Yeah.
Biden's like fucking Benito Mussolini or whatever. I mean, if he's putting through like progressive things and he's willing to go along
Yeah.
with it, then that's like some dick saying like, oh, they're like a leftist, but all they do is regurgitate right-wing talking points. I don't give a fuck if you claim you're a leftist
I
because you're not
yeah,
an ally to the
I a
leftist
hundred
cause.
I 100% agree. I don't think Biden is naturally as progressive as he is governing, but I think it's to his great credit that he looks at stuff like this and is like, no, this makes sense. I'm going to go along with it.
He said
Honestly, like,
he said he wants to be a transformative president.
yeah,
What he means by that is he wants to turn into a truck.
right?
No, he wants meaning that he's like transitional, transformative, like
Yeah.
to get young people. I don't know what to
Well,
say.
I'll tell you when I just on a personal level, like when like the notion of like trans identity, people being trans kind of became a broader thing. I didn't understand it, but like I knew enough to be like, well, I don't need to understand it. It's you just support it. You be supportive of people if they're trying to find their way in the world
But that has nothing to
and
do with what I was talking about with transformative president.
I know, and
I know what
yes,
I know
I'm
what you're
aware of
saying.
that.
You're
I'm
saying
just
that the
saying
point is that
comparatively, you don't have to understand something. You don't have to really truly embrace it in your head to sit back and say, like, this is still a good thing. This is about people enjoying liberty and finding their way in the world and they're not hurting it. Like, why the fuck would you be against this? You don't need to understand it to
yeah, does it
support
and
it.
does it affect you
Yeah,
personally too?
right.
It's like the same thing. It's like somebody, another person I was talking to. These are actual real conversations I have with people. I'm not going to
Yeah.
mention names. Not just something I'm making
this
fun
is
of.
this is where the camera pans back and you see several ventriloquist dolls behind Robin and
Yeah, yeah.
Dixon.
That'd be awesome, right? Well, Mr. Chester over here has some real contradicting thoughts. I don't, but he does. No, they were saying making it about making like an off-color joke or something like that, and the person doesn't
Hmm.
laugh. They don't find it funny. And he said, so I said, so what do you do? You double down, right? And he said, you can't cancel me. I was fucking with them. And they said, no, like, I just move on.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I just move on. Like, okay, I respect you don't appreciate it, and that's fine.
Yeah,
And they just don't make a big huff. Hey, do I offend you?
yeah,
Do
right.
I
I mean,
offend you? It's
it's
like, shut the
funny.
fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, no, he's like, you just, again, it's like, I might not understand these things, but like, I'm not going to get in the way either.
Yeah, but I think that so like with the first guy you were talking to, I kind of get that. I suspect kind of deep in my heart that Biden might be more naturally conservative than he's governing, but he's
Well, his
governing pretty
history is
progressive.
more conservative, that he's
Yeah,
always kind of been a more conservative Democrat.
and that's
But
fine.
I don't give a shit because his administration
Yes,
has been
correct.
more progressive.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Like
and I
investing
respect him
in
for it.
more progressive actions. He's the first president, I don't even know when, who walked the picket line.
Yeah, dudes
That's a big
evolve. I mean,
fucking deal.
like, yeah, you gotta let people evolve. You gotta let people, get better.
Yeah, I
That's
heard people like bringing up shit from like 40 years ago, like, oh, he knew Strom Thurmond. Well, Strom Thurmond was a fucking senator for like 100
yeah,
years. And like, yeah, that old racist piece of shit, you have to work with him.
yeah. And
I mean,
it's
it's not an excuse.
right.
It's just, and again, that was fucking 40 years
It's
ago.
a
Now,
long
if
time ago.
Biden was doing this now, that'd be a different
Oh,
story.
big difference, big difference. But yeah, I mean, like, of course he's gonna. Hopefully everyone evolves. Hopefully everyone gets better.
Fucking Bernie, like, yeah, he's always been like on the left, but he's evolved. He's had terrible like on guns, he was not very
Right.
progressive.
No.
Years later he got more progressive. It's like people, as long as they're evolving, as long as they're
Yes.
progressing.
Well, that's what we started talking about at the beginning is like these baby steps. You keep moving forward. Just got to keep moving forward.
So I
Keep
said, like, I don't give a shit if somebody can claim they're this, and this. I don't give a fuck. What are you doing now? If
yeah,
you're regurgitating right wing talking points, or you're on the side of the, you're useless to me. Like, I don't
yeah,
consider, like, I'd rather have like someone who is probably more conservative, but like is pushing through more progressive actions than like the.
right.
Some people just want to be contrarians. I think that's a fact.
Yeah, I think that's the case. And I get that. I mean, like I get that, but I don't not respect that. But
No, it's
anyway,
fine. And some people just don't know too. They may not realize like, oh shit, like this person's done this, and this, and it's like, okay, I'll
yeah,
take it back a little bit.
right, yeah, yeah. And I think it's real easy to miss a lot of Biden's accomplishments. It
Well, like
probably
you
is.
don't report on it. All you see is like what's going on, and yeah.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, Simpsons. Talk about
Yeah.
this. Okay, so I'm not really talking about the Simpsons. We're talking about there's this guy on TikTok. You know the guy's name? He's like a writer. Let me see. He always sends up in my feed. Maybe he'll pop in my feed if I just keep scrolling. I don't think I follow him.
Yeah, I'm confused about where I first heard this piece
I
of
swear it was
media.
on TikTok. He was talking about references about like I don't know, what was he talking about exactly? Like
Okay,
about
his theory was that we have like a staleness of pop culture, and he predicated that with a anecdote about The Simpsons. He said the first three seasons of The Simpsons was created by people, nerds that had varied backgrounds. They were all like it was this weird mix of a whole bunch of influences. They came together and made magic. And then subsequent seasons of The Simpsons were created by people that were only influenced by The Simpsons.
yeah.
And it became deeply self-referential, but to its deficit. Like it stopped evolving. Which
Yeah,
is
he's
actually
he's basically saying that like Star Wars is this mishmash of all the things that George Lucas grew up with, and he created this weird thing with a lot of
right.
help.
Yeah.
With a lot of help.
Yes.
But the movie was like they said that movie was saved at the editing table.
I've heard it's his wife, right? That
Supposedly, yeah, his wife had a
yeah,
lot to do with it, but a couple other people, yeah, it was the editors that like saved that fucking movie and
right.
made it what it was. But and the Simpsons thing makes sense, obviously, but Simpsons been around for like 30 fucking years, if not more. They're gonna start referencing themselves. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's like I get it, like, oh, it becomes like fan fiction, but like, I don't know. I'm a fan. I don't look at Star Wars. I think the problem is that I look at Star Wars as like a giant universe thing with different characters and
Yeah.
like comics, there's movies, there's books, there's video games, and I like things from all the different things, probably mostly the movies and the live action and some of
Sure.
the cartoons. But there are people who view Star Wars as just that first fucking movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything after that is just fan service or fan fiction or whatever. And I think like you're creating barriers that don't need to be there. Like
Yeah.
I get what he's saying, but like there is also a established universe, so you're gonna as long as you're building off of it and expanding, like Andor is a good example where
Oh yeah.
they expand the Star Wars universe without constantly shoving nostalgic shit in your face from Star Wars.
I
It,
would, yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you. I would disagree with people that feel otherwise, mostly because Star Wars was unique to me in that it so clearly implied a larger universe from the get-go. They're talking about the Clone Wars, and they never really bring it up again in the first one, but clearly they with just a throwaway line, they imply like an entire backstory. And the
yeah,
movie itself starts like in the middle of a chase scene. It starts at the end of a chase scene.
right.
Like that's a crazy way to begin a movie, is like the end of a chase scene.
Yeah,
And then
it's like another story.
yeah,
It begins because it's like a serial. So it
exactly. You're
begins,
like, what happened? What did I miss? You didn't
yeah.
miss anything,
And
but
that's what Rogue One was basically. It filled
yeah,
in that hole.
right. And at the end of Star Wars, there's like that tacked on kind of like ending of them all getting medals or whatever, except Chewie, which was bullshit.
Yeah, that's
But
bullshit.
um,
Chewie
but
erasure.
Darth Vader's still around. You know he's alive and tumbling
Yeah,
into
but
space
it
somewhere,
ends in
and
that's the one movie that ends in a way that like
it could have ended.
it could
Yes,
just ended. There would never been another movie, and it would just been a one complete story. Empire's
it,
the one that ends with the, you know,
yeah. But
that's
at
the
the end,
next movie.
yeah, no, that is true. But like even at the end of Star Wars, New Hope, if you think about it, like the rebellion didn't win. There's still a rebellion. The Death
Yeah,
Star
there's
was
still an
just
empire.
yeah, the Death Star was just their newest weapon. They had the rebels had been losing before, and all they did is prevent losing even worse. They're still back to losing.
Yeah,
Uh
because you begin with the second movie and they're on Hoth and they're
yeah,
like, what the fuck's going on here? Like how did well, I get what he's saying. He's trying to make a point, but I don't agree with it. Same thing with like the Simpsons and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, you could say like, oh yeah, of course, there's 3 years of the best years of this, which I don't agree. The first 2 years are not
right.
very good. It doesn't hit its stride until like the third or fourth season. Conan O'Brien years are like some of the best years.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, that's my fucking point of view. I grew up with those. Who's to say that somebody now would go back and watch those episodes and think that they are equally as amazing as I thought they were
Yeah.
when I was like 12 years old? Or I thought Star Wars was amazing when the first one, or Empire. They might be like, I like Force Awakens. I thought it was good. Like, it's a silly. This guy puts out TikTok videos again.
Yeah. I will
Time. I got this video of a guy pulling out a blackhead out of an ear, and I'm
ugh,
just waiting for that. It's like a never ending pus wheel.
yuck.
It's
Oh.
disgusting. All right, I'm gonna move on. I can't find this guy, of course, now because this guy
Well,
always pops up on my feed, but now, of course, he's not going to because I'm looking for him.
well, I will say kind of an interesting thing about like internet culture, I think, is that new jokes, people like new jokes. Like when I see a new joke, I like it, whatever. But people really like obscure references. You know what I mean? Like
And that's what the Simpsons were. I mean, they were
yeah,
references I didn't even get because they were referencing shit from like the 70s,
right.
movies from the
It was,
60s. There was
and
like,
that's when that type of humor started to get big. Like prior to the Simpsons and maybe like Mystery Science Theater 3000 and stuff like that. Prior to all that, humor was like supposed to be new. I mean, it would reference tropes and stuff like that, but you didn't have to do a lot of homework. And then out of the blue, all of a sudden, comedy was kind of like based on, or pop culture was based on obscure referencing. And he'd have like rap artists referencing all sorts of weird pop culture uh detail. Anyway, it's a different
but I also
um
say like, okay, so Star Trek is a series and they keep making new ones.
but
They
they
say
don't
they're not that everything is fan fiction after the first
yeah,
series in the 60s. That's bullshit.
yeah. Yeah,
I
no,
mean, I could say that like comics, the problem with comics these days is that all the big stuff was made back in the 60s and 70s. And well, one, they don't want to make new stuff for Marvel because they don't get to keep it. Same thing with DC. Writers and artists are like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna make you fucking your Deadpool another one. No, fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna see a dime of that. I'm gonna get very little. Why would I give
Right, right.
Marvel like their next theme park ride for pennies?
Yeah.
But like they start referencing themselves. They start self-referencing after a while because it's like it's like an unavoidable thing, you know.
Right.
Fans of something from 10 years, 20 years ago are now the creators of something. I
Yeah.
mean, what are you gonna do about it? That's
Well, I'll tell you what you do is you consult an AI to see if it'll sell. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah. You get that out. Let's see. Let's test the AI or the algorithm or analytics or marketing. Let marketing decide on what gets made.
yeah. Well, we have two topics that I guess the AI balloon head one is kind of the first one. And then I guess I was jumping the gun a little, kind of trying to segue into the Odenkirk show.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of this is kind of like a little different now because people will use or companies will use predictive logistics or algorithms or
They've
whatnot.
always used like
And
rating
focus groups and stuff. Yeah.
focus groups, ratings. But when you hear new things and new sexy word like algorithm or
Right.
analytics or whatever, it makes I think it's kind of reductive of what they're doing. It makes
Yeah.
it sound like less human. It's like at least with a focus group, you got a bunch of idiots in there who ruin
Right.
everything because like they somehow get the dumbest people in the room together
Yeah.
to like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
let's let the dumbest people in the world determine like if this show gets made or not.
So they greenlit Manimal.
Yeah. Does he have to be a man? Can he just be a manimal?
Right.
Good point. Thank you, Rufus. Thank you, Rufus.
Hi, hire that man. This is real America. Get him a corner
We
office.
were gonna sink in and we were gonna put in $10 million, but Carol over there said she wasn't sure. And
Yeah.
Carol is
Mm.
I'm trying to think of like something. I don't want to say housewife or something, but like something where
Right.
she
Yeah.
has no history of like film school or like any,
Right.
what I mean, any
Yeah.
interest in anything. Just Carol there doesn't think it'll work. She doesn't like this character. Didn't
Yeah.
make her smile.
She doesn't find that character relatable since she hangs out with primarily people who steal catalytic converters. Oh,
Yeah, she doesn't make meth.
right. Well, okay, so you were telling me about this was it a movie called Balloonhead?
Well, why
Uh
don't we wait? Let's talk about the Odenkirk thing
okay,
first.
okay, yeah.
Since we talk about animal. So there was a show supposed to be made with Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. I heard about this like 2 years ago. It was around the time Paramount Plus was rolling
Okay.
out, becoming
Yeah.
a thing. And because wasn't it called like CBS something first? And then it
It
became
was yes, it was called CBS Online. CBS Live or something like that. Because we actually had a subscription. We were like one of the first people to subscribe to it. It was like $2.99 a month, and you could watch Big Brother on it, like the live streams of Big Brother.
wow.
Every my wife loved watching that over the summer. There was like eight
I'm
weeks
gonna
where
watch them
she,
sleep. Not
oh no, she would
not
watch
creepy
that.
at all.
She would watch
Oh,
that constantly. It
it's like
was yeah.
it's
Anyway,
so funny. Yeah, stalking's illegal, but watching it on TV,
totally
people
normal.
just like in the kitchen, just doing the most rudimentary things. Like that's fine.
She would watch that, and yeah, so it was originally like CBS Live or something like that, and then you're right, later on it became Paramount
The
Plus.
law says me looking through somebody's window is, for an hour and a half is wrong, but you can watch
Right.
off hours. What was that show?
Barry talking about Big Brother.
Yeah, Big
Yeah.
Brother, the off hours part. That's not part of the main show on
Well,
CBS.
Cinemax would collect only the scandalous
It
parts and
was the
show
movie.
them.
It was Showtime.
Well, they would. Oh, was it Big Brother After Dark? Was that Showtime?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's
Okay. Yeah.
Icon.
Okay. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's okay.
Anyway, so there was this Bob Odenkirk show planned, and they
Yeah, it
they
was David Cross
kiboshed
and
it,
Bob
right?
Odenkirk being in it, which is great because they're the Mr. Show guys and they haven't
Yep.
done much together in years. I mean, they both had their big projects with Arrested Development, a bunch of other
Yeah.
stuff David Cross has done, and Bob Odenkirk with the whole like just Better Call Saul and everything. I mean that. So it was
Yeah.
them doing a project together, and the plot even sounded funny. It was like they were basically playing like two different cult leader gurus. Like I don't like think Jordan
Yes.
Peterson. I bet you one of them would have been like a Jordan Peterson like, and then someone else. I don't know. They were basically, and that was like it was almost sounded a little bit like Arrested Development a little bit or whatever, and they're clashing or like I don't know. It sounds funny. It's like
Yeah.
those two guys, how it's gonna be good. They're gonna have good cast. They're gonna get like some of the people from Rested in it, some of the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
from the show are gonna be in it. It would have been like fun. And then you find out it's not getting fucking made. And the reason why it didn't get made was let me see if I can find it. Oh, David Cross says his Paramount series with Bob Odenkirk was dropped because marketing and analytics rejected it. They have all the fucking power.
Yeah.
The marketing didn't understand how to promote the show. They were like, what do you mean you don't know how to promote it? You just fucking you got can't
You just
I don't
yeah,
know,
you just
whatever.
I don't understand how you could not you just release a couple clips on TikTok, see what
Yeah.
happens. I mean, this isn't like difficult. Anyway, yeah, it is weird. That's depressing. But then there's a balloon head movie, right? And didn't
Okay,
what
so this is something different. This is to do with like AI. This is kind of like fraud. So there was some balloon head thing that came out a couple weeks ago. It was only like a minute long, and it was just them trying to say, like, look, this movie, the short film was created using Sora or whatever AI,
Mhm.
and then it was revealed weeks later that that's not actually true. Like they did, I guess, the foundations or whatever made with AI, but like this studio, I forgot the name of it, actually did all the fucking work. I had to go back and literally redo everything
Yeah,
and make it an actual thing. So what the final product was not AI.
right. And they were selling it as AI, which is
Yeah,
like a weird flex.
not a weird flex. It's a fucking outright lie. It should
Well,
be fucking illegal because they're using it to get investors
yeah,
to put in. Now, I mean, obviously, people make. I don't know. It's like a weird thing because people make like products that are not 100% finished,
sure.
and they get investors on that. It's been going on since like I don't know, fucking probably since the wheel was created.
Yeah.
I have this thing. Not exactly a wheel yet.
Perpetual motions
It's
within
like
our
a
region.
seven-sided shape,
Yeah.
kind of rolls, but it's not out there yet. I need another like 100 years, and I promise I'll be able to get that circular shape. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
I can sell blood testing kits in every CVS for
yeah,
it
that's
is yeah, it's
fucking what's her name, Theranos.
Theranos, yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
Elon Musk saying that Teslas are self-driving cars when they're not,
right. Yeah.
and or that the Tesla Cybertruck can be a boat. It could work as a boat for a
Right.
little while if there was a flood. Just throwing that out there. And we'll talk about that later because
Yeah.
so so this is just a fucking lie. And then I saw there was some other thing, a video being made, and this person involved, they said that, yeah, watch this in 3 weeks, we'll find out again. It's like the same thing as Balloon Head.
Right.
This is not really made in AI. Now, I've been seeing a lot of interesting stuff lately that I find it amusing. Fucking despise AI. It's horrible. I can't stand when I find out the studio used it, like in Civil War, they used it to promote. Uh,
Right, right.
I watched that movie, Late Late Night with the Devil.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was good. I liked it. I enjoyed the movie, but like there's those scenes where you see the interstitials and it was done with AI. And I'm just sitting there like, first of all, the joke about, I don't know if you heard about this movie. Like the joke is there's like nine production companies involved in this movie.
Mm.
You ever see that some movies sometimes have like 12
Yeah, yeah.
fucking, it's like, when's the movie going to start? There's like
Right.
30 different companies. Well, that's kind of like this movie. There's a bunch of them. So a bunch of logos. You're telling me couldn't afford to hire an artist to just draw those
Yeah, that's
for like
just funny.
$50 each. Like seriously, what the fuck?
Mm.
Well, and again, Civil War using marketing, using these bullshit AI images.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe like I'm surprised they didn't come out and say we did that on purpose because like that's kind of like integral to the plot about like misinformation or something
Yeah,
that
I mean, yeah.
they could have totally saved face by putting that out there and said that we purposely did the AI. We don't agree with
Right.
it. We actually paid someone to do this or whatever. But they could have said that this is plays into the plot. No, they didn't. Just got out into
Yeah.
the marketing. They used it in an A24 movie. It's bullshit. But that's the problem with. So I've been seeing these videos of like What if Futurama was a 50s movie? What if RoboCop was made?
Right. Yeah. I've seen
And
a
it
lot of
looks
those.
kind of cool. It's like fun looking, but it's not consistent in each
No.
image. And they said that's the problem with AI or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Is you can't control it because
Yeah.
it's not there yet. Like you can type in a bunch of prompts, but there's no continuity. That's why the balloon head thing would not work
And
because there's no continuity. It would look different in like every fucking scene.
yeah, some Chat GPT, which is like kind of a rudimentary text AI stuff that I've used before. It doesn't have a memory. Like if you open a chat log and you say, hey, do this, and then it does that, and then you ask it to do something else, it'll remember during that one log. But the minute you go off and try to go back on, it won't remember something you said before. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
what
like,
I was saying too. That the joke is, and this is what I'm talking about. Like with these dipshits get by these execs and all those higher up dipshits, they get sold by these technology companies, and then they're convinced I don't need to hire work. I can fire half my staff.
yeah,
And the joke is that the artists, creatives, whatever that are left over, are working even harder because the AI doesn't actually work,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it ends up being more fucking work
It needs a lot of
because
maintenance to work,
you
even when it does.
well, it's beyond that. I mean, like I said, you end up redoing. That was what the writer's strike. The problem with the writer's strike is like the studios wanted to be like, well, we'll you have AI write the script, and then we'll just hire some day
Right,
workers to come in and punch up the script, but you don't get a credit. You're not going to get residuals because you didn't write it. The AI
right.
did, and that's complete bullshit. Because I guarantee you, the person would have to rewrite the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a power. It was they used AI as an excuse to not pay residuals to people. They
It's
used
hard.
AI
Yeah.
as an excuse to fire half the creative department.
Well,
That's why I can't fucking
yeah.
stand about it.
Mm.
It's like it's not. It looks cool. Some of the stuff we see. Some of
Yeah.
it, like it's funny too. It's not even like you ever see it. Like it moves like a little bit, but it's like this weird It's like a fake animation.
Yes.
Like it
Yeah.
kind of hovers a little bit, or like the face moves like a drop. It's like a weird, like the image isn't still basically,
Yeah. It's just yeah,
but
like
it's not animated. It's not
no.
like arms are moving, cars are flying by. It's just like there's like a little bit of life there. I don't know. Like I said, I find them fun. Those like 50 Star Wars in the 50s
Yeah,
and all,
those are good.
but they're not consistent.
No.
That's the problem. Um, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
No, whatever. It's not. I mean, like I said,
Well,
shit should be fucking illegal. There should be some kind of like. I mean, again, that's the problem. Is there's been people make prototypes or make
yeah.
claim this product is 100% just like you said, a blood testing machine that doesn't work,
Yeah.
like the Theranos thing. So it's kind of hard to gauge and say, well,
I think it's different when it's definitely different when you're talking about pop culture versus blood testing, you know.
I'm not talking about pop culture. I'm talking about you promise a technology and saying that it does this. It's like it's like Amazon claiming the store, like
Right.
it's all
Was
AI, then you
automated.
find out it's not. It's some freaking guy on the other side of the world. Like
Yeah, that's really dystopian.
it's so pathetic. It's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this. The phone's doing everything. And there's like a guy on the other side, like, yeah, the phone's doing
Right.
everything.
It's just, yeah, it's
Again,
a
this
fun.
is like years ago when I was at my job. This is like one of my first jobs in apparel, and the dipshit owner showed up with his kids, and he's standing behind me. I'm working on Photoshop, and he's like, "You see, the computer does everything," and I'm just like, "Are you fucking with me right now, or do you really believe this?
Probably really believed it,
Like, are
you
you
know?
negging me to like so that I don't ask for a raise because this computer's doing everything?" You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, dude. If the computer's doing everything, then everything would look good."
Right. Yeah.
No, my stuff looks good because I'm the one who fucking made it. That person's stuff doesn't look good because that person made it. And guess what? We're using both the same program.
Yeah.
Why isn't the program making their stuff good?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people just don't, a lot of people just don't understand how that
Well, they
works,
got
you know?
sold on something, they invest in it, and that's the problem with this AI bullshit. It's not
Yeah,
there yet. I remember when I was
it
working
isn't.
in apparel, there was like this, we get these guys come in with this AR technology. I fucking hated this. Where like someone could scan something on the t-shirt and then on their phone to be like some kind of
Oh
animation.
yeah,
Like, this is so dumb. Who wants fucking sell a t-shirt? What the fuck, man?
yeah.
Who wants this shit? They just want the next gimmick. No one
Mm.
cares. You think the person shops Target for a shirt? It's like, oh, SpongeBob with flames behind him is gonna show him my phone if I scan. Sold. I'm buying that shirt. Sold.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Cobra Kai was
Yeah.
announced. It's coming back.
That's a great show. I think
All it's all in AI now.
right. The first season was just so flawless. But all the other seasons have been fine too. I like them
I
all. I
like
like
the
them.
last season is where it got ridiculous. I wonder
It
if they're
did.
gonna like pull it back a bit this season. The last season like turned into
Yeah.
like an 80s action movie. The
Well,
bad
yeah.
guy got like turned into he went crazy. It was really funny.
Yeah. The first season was really grounded, and there's some funny parts that might not have been super realistic, but it was a pretty grounded show. And you're right. Once they started having routine karate fights in the lunchrooms and malls and
Well, it's
stuff,
not even they invade that guy's uh
yeah.
mansion and he's like sitting there like a crime boss and he has his goons. The best is when they cut that one guy's finger off and they realize like how insane everything's getting.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's funny
Yeah,
how
it is. I
crazy.
mean, it's
So they're splitting the third season into three parts. There's 15 episodes. I will assume it's five, five, and five. So the
makes
first five
sense.
is gonna come out in July. And then the second five will be in November. And they didn't announce the date for the third five. It will be in 2025.
Oh
What do
yeah,
you think of
probably.
that?
Um, I don't love it, but I'm not like a crazy opposed to it. You know what I mean?
Five
Like,
episodes is a decent amount. I mean,
yeah,
usually I like six is like more of a magic number or something with those things.
yeah.
But I mean,
If
at least
you,
they're telling you right off the
yes,
gate back, like this shit is not, you have to wait till November. Like it was in the ad. They didn't like release five and then be like, "Huh, we don't know when the next five is going to come out. Could be like a
yeah.
month, could be like a year, like what they did with Invincible. Like that was bullshit.
I prefer this to other ways of rolling things out. Um, yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I
It's the
mean,
last season. I mean, they want to milk it. They
yeah,
still they don't release them weekly. So
right. Yeah, it'll be good. I mean, obviously, I'll like it. I'll watch it.
maybe you'll like it. You don't know. You didn't see it. It could be
Well,
horrible.
it should be good. I mean, I like
Did you
what
hear
they've
they're
done
making
so
a
far.
movie? But I don't even know if the movie's like it's a new Karate Kid movie. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I did hear this. I thought it was kind of unrelated to this.
It's weird because they're bringing back what's his face, Jackie
Uh-huh.
Chan, but I don't think it has anything to do with the um Will Smith's son
Yeah,
version. I didn't care for that. I didn't care for it because it was like he was like 11. Like
just seemed yeah,
I don't give a fuck about this. Like I know like not to say that like a 17-year-old comes off more like an adult than an 11-year-old. A
yeah.
17-year-old faces like they
Well,
got a
some
job, they got to like,
they have
they started
relatable problems.
they're building up their life, 11 fucking little kid. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to watch this. And I should
Yeah.
be, I mean, should be watching it anyway.
No, but like an 11-year-old to me, like
It's a
not
kids movie.
yeah, they don't have relatable problems to me, and they shouldn't react in ways that I find
My
relatable.
Roblox password was lost.
Yeah, right. Like that's it. That's the like. Oh man, I can't believe I got a B on that assignment. You know, what I mean, like they should have real weird, like kind of minor problems. Um, but it'll be good. I'm confident of that, and I'll watch
Maybe,
it.
I don't know. I'm curious back. Well, Ralph Macchio's in it, but I don't think it has anything to do with Cobra Kai. So it is weird that
Oh,
it's supposed to come out this year, but it's not.
oh, you're talking about the movie again? Yeah,
The
I was.
movie.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
was
so
talking
Ralph
about the
Macchio's in the
series again.
movie.
Yeah,
Jackie Chan's going to be in it. Like I said, Jackie Chan was in the Will Smith son movie that came
yeah.
out 10 years ago. And I think they casted some guy to be it, the Karate Kid. But
Okay.
like, I don't think it's in the same Cobra Kai like universe.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to work. It was
Mm.
supposed to come out this year. but it's not. It's coming out next year,
Right.
which I think is good. It should come out when Cobra Kai is not on anymore. So there's like,
Yeah, less confusion.
yeah, but I still think it's odd. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't, whatever. You know what? I'm sure I'll be
Yes.
fine. Good for Ralph Macchio. I'm glad to see,
Yes.
again, I think it's really funny when you see him on screen. You're like, he's older than like Pat
Yeah.
Morita when he was.
Yeah, he was a kid in Karate Kid, obviously, but he was in like The Outsiders, I think, and he was
Right.
been
No,
in a
I'm just
bunch of
talking
stuff.
about like how he looks now. You're like, you
Oh yeah,
watch Cobra Kai now. He's like in his 50s, and you're like,
yeah,
he's older than Pat Morita was when he filmed
yeah.
meeting
That's
like.
crazy.
Well, Pat Morita was playing someone. I think Pat Morita was supposed to be playing someone older than
Yes,
Morita
the
was.
older than himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be like 10, 15 years old, and then
Mm.
what did he was the guy who owned the diner on Happy Days. Pat Morita,
Oh yeah,
the original owner.
right. Well, he was the second owner. Wasn't Al the original owner,
No, Pat Morita was the original.
and then Al was the second?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, I enjoyed Cobra Kai. We'll see.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
X-Men. What do you think of it?
I loved it. This was like the aside from the big one, the just destruction of Genosha.
Yeah.
I thought this was the strongest episode yet. I thought it was really cool the way the plot came together. I
The
liked.
Human Sentinels.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not making a comment as to whether or not that like makes sense in universe, but I appreciate, I love this type of episode too, where the plan, you finally see the plan, but it's almost too late, and then like all those sleeper agents started activating. I thought that was pretty great. Um, I like the little shot of Spider-Man. I thought that was kind of
That was
cool.
fun. There's a couple
Yeah.
of shots of other people in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Doctor
Yep.
Doom supposedly in there, but yeah, I
Doctor
like
Doom.
the Spider-Man's kind of a fun little call out
Yeah.
because in the first season of the cartoon when it first came out,
Hmm.
you see Spider-Man kind of like his arms shoot a web and he kind of
Okay.
you don't see the whole thing. You don't see him fully. And the joke was supposedly they did not have the rights to use
Oh,
Spider-Man
that's funny.
cartoon, but they were fine with it. And there was a Spider-Man cartoon coming out shortly after anyway,
Yeah.
so they kind of used that as promotion. But the team did not legally
Huh.
have the rights to use Spider-Man. So it's kind of a fun little callback, I think, to that
Yeah.
season to have Spider-Man just show up on the screen. But I like it too because it's showing that like this isn't just an X-Men universe.
Right.
The
Yes.
entire
It's
Marvel
a
universe.
large universe.
We got to
There's
see
some.
Ronan in that episode with the Shi'ar.
Yep. There's
Kree.
there's a Tony Stark or a Stark Industries magazine in this
Yeah.
episode.
Captain
Uh.
America was in that.
Yep.
Supposedly people think that wasn't really Captain America, that was like either like somebody pretending to be him or
Oh.
it was a Sentinel.
Huh.
I don't know. We'll see if that anything
Yeah.
out of that. Or that's just the theory.
Right. Well, I don't know. I thought this episode was really strong. It was probably one of the most. I think it was the
Yeah, I have
most
to
fun
rewatch it. I
episode.
liked it, but I want to rewatch it. I like the Wolverine thing.
Yep.
I saw people complaining. They're like, "Oh, Wolverine's like not really like he's like kind of taking a seat back in this," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, this motherfucker has been like the lead in all the X-Men movies for
Yeah.
20 years. Like, there's all these cool characters, and everybody complains that they don't
Right.
give him any time. But then Wolverine doesn't get any time. Then people start complaining. Just shows you can't make fucking people happy.
I thought
You think
Wolverine was
AI
good
is
in
gonna
this.
make people happy? No,
Right.
it's gonna piss you off even more.
Wolverine had good screen time in this one, I
Yeah, he
thought.
did. He did some cool shit. He was flying in the air.
Yep, that, and then the scene with him and Nightcrawler was real good, I thought.
Yep.
Um, it was good. I have no complaints about this episode. I thought it was probably one of the stronger
You
ones.
like Bastion?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought he seemed a little smart alecky for me. I thought he was gonna be a little more
I
super
mean, he's a bad
villain.
guy. Shouldn't he be smart
Yeah,
alecky?
but like flippantly smart alecky, like noted, and like kind of making faces
He's supposed to
and
be arrogant and everything. He's
yeah,
like he's a Is he like a mutant that got turned to a sentinel or something? Like they showed, I guess the dad was like infested with
Yeah,
like some techno thing from the future, and then had the kid. So the kid's like a product of
yeah,
DNA that was altered.
yeah. I don't. They didn't really
Techno
show that
jizz.
or they didn't show that in clear order, because
Well, they show
if
that the dad was just some like
janitor, he's a
janitor or
janitor at a
whatever.
school.
The mom too was it like they basically he was infested with something, and then they have a kid, and the
Right,
kid's DNA is the his techno jizz
right.
made the techno kid, and then techno
But
jizz
he grew up to
walk
be
on him. I put my sperminators. I got the sperminators now, mama.
he grew up to be Bastion. So that begs the question: who was it intentional? Was his father intentionally infected, or was it just a
I'll assume
fluke?
he was. I'm assuming that's like they wanted to create something in the past,
Right.
and the way to do it to make it more
Yeah.
organic or whatever was have people. I I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway,
Go write go write the creator and see what happens.
yeah, really. Uh, Regardless, it was a great episode. I thought real good one. So, what you
Else
liked it?
from
Yeah.
it? I mean,
What'd you say?
anything else from it?
Well, I do like, and this is again like just sort of a common thing. I love the scene where Cable is like, they're like, did you try to go back and stop this? And Cable's like, I've tried so many times and I can't do it. Because I like that. There's always a scene in time travel movies where
Yep.
like it
This is
doesn't.
the
It
12th time I've done this.
yes, and it results in the same outcome every time. Loki, it trying to teach. Remember Loki in the last episode? He'd done it for like
Yeah,
300,000 years or something.
yeah, yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah. So I like that kind of scene. Um, and I like the idea that I forget, Beast says that there's some absolute points that are the same in every universe.
I felt
Uh
bad for Beast because I thought Trish Tilby was into him, and she ended up being
yeah,
a
the
fucking
robot, demon
robot.
robot.
Yeah,
Well, he needs to get his head out of the books, get his head in the game. That's what he needs to do,
yeah.
Beast.
He needs to. Maybe he needs like the what was that guy's name? He needs to start peacocking.
Right.
What was that guy's name again? There was a show on VH1 where this guy teaches pickup art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first step Beast needs to do is start wearing a what are those hats called?
A
The
fedora.
Yeah, he needs to wear a fedora. Say lady. It sounds like something he would say anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, just gotta learn how to learn some tricks, some pickup art tricks, learn
Yes,
some
of
magic
course.
too. Pick up some magic tricks.
Well, I thought it was
Maybe
great.
shake a little,
It's
a little bit.
I thought it was a great episode. I
What was the
am
deal with Magneto in the end? He got out and he was like,
looks like he just turned off the electricity for the whole world.
I feel like he's gonna go nuts and do some crazy shit.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that could also be part of the plan because the whole plan here is to turn people against the mutants.
Again, yeah.
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 So, however you
And
do
Charlie,
that,
it was revealed Cooper was, she shows up and she's
yep,
wearing like the fucking Bastion uniform or whatever.
right.
But she's the one that frees Magneto in the end, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a
Um,
good thing. We'll find out in the next episode. But
I keep thinking that we're going to find out that she is secretly teamed up with the Ninja Turtles because she reminds me of April. The
Carly, the Cooper lady with the glasses,
yeah, yeah, the one with the art, the cast.
yeah,
Yeah, it just
I
reminds me of
don't
her.
see it. No. Sorry.
Oh well. So anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm real excited to see the next episode. I thought this was a good change of pace. Like the last few episodes, I was just sort of like, but this one was a great one. I thought.
So again, I love seeing shit. This has really nothing to do with the show, but I love seeing like how dipshits kind of come in bad faith and say these like really stupid things. So some guy brings up and goes, because people are like, why was the writer fired? And we still haven't been really given a reason. Supposedly the DeMeo guy.
Yeah,
He's still like kind of promoting a little bit. So I'm feeling they're probably gonna get him back on at some point.
good.
They want to keep him in the background or whatever. Let's find out they're probably doing like what the fuck was going on here. Supposedly he was difficult to work with.
Right.
Supposedly he had some weird OnlyFans thing.
Yes.
I don't know the details, Someone brought up because, oh, they rehired James Gunn. And people were like, okay, first of all, James Gunn thing when he got fired was bullshit because
Yeah,
they were fucking
it was
15-year-old,
manufactured.
10-year-old fucking tweets. He apologized to them a long time ago. They were just dumb jokes. They weren't funny. They were like, go back and look at any comedian. They probably were making
Yeah,
similar fucking pedo jokes. Like I
yeah,
said, Pat Oswalt, I bring this up. Pat Oswalt is I would consider a more progressive comedian.
yeah. I would say,
Progressives with the time. But I remember when I was at work, we were putting on comedy specials, whatever, and I put on, by mistake, a Pat Oswalt special from 2003. This was the year
mm,
20, it was probably like 2016 or 2015 when I put this on.
okay,
And he started saying the F word so many times. And I'm talking not the word fuck, the other word.
yeah. No, I
F,
know what you mean. Yeah,
the gay slur. And he says it like a ton of times. He would never say it now.
right.
Kind of
Yeah,
like what we talked about earlier about
yeah,
Biden.
for sure.
I turned
Yeah,
it off, of course, because we're at
mm,
work. I'm like, no, this is coming off. Sorry, this is not good. This doesn't need to
right.
be.
Well,
But the thing is about the gun thing was bullshit. First of all, he was fired. He was gone for a year. We
mm,
forget he was gone. Disney fired his ass. They still want to use the script and get another because he writes his scripts first before he makes his
mm,
movies. They wanted to use his script and get another director, and people were like, "That's bullshit. He's the one who wrote the script. It should be his movie." He got gobbled up by Warner Brothers. They
right.
made Suicide Squad, and that's why it took fucking 4 extra years getting a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah,
Point is that I hate that argument because it's like you just want to attack James Gunn because you're probably some like Zack Snyder nut and
hmm,
want to sabotage the DC universe because they're
yeah.
going back to Snyderverse. Oh, believe me, they will.
No,
I love that. Do you remember those idiots who were like, they're gonna bring because like a bunch of content was showing up on Netflix from WB,
mm.
like Batman versus Superman and all that was showing up on Netflix now. You can watch it on
Oh,
Netflix.
okay,
WB licensed it out to Netflix. So people assume that they're gonna bring back the Snyderverse on
right.
Netflix. Like they're not
Mm.
gonna fucking do that. That's
I
insane.
don't see that happening.
No, never gonna happen. Never. Not in a million fucking years.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
don't
just
know. We don't, but it's a stupid thing to compare the gun thing. First of all, that was sabotage. Disney took the bait from a bunch of online Nazis. It was really stupid.
yeah,
This
they
guy,
did.
we, this guy, we don't know what this guy did.
Mm.
We don't know DeMeo. We don't know like what he did
Right.
wrong. We don't like they fired his ass right before it aired, which was kind of odd that without any explanation. It hasn't affected the show,
No, no.
but I'm wondering if they let him go because it
Mm.
could have affected the show. It could have gotten out, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
But who the fuck knows? I just think it's stupid to compare Gunn to this guy. It's like this is an
yeah, I
early
can see that.
stage. We don't know what this guy did wrong. Everyone wants him back because we like the show, which is
Yeah.
funny. This guy
Uh,
could be horrible for all we know. He could be a absolute monster, but it just goes to show you if you
mhm.
make something that people like, they'll forgive you on anything.
Yeah, you're right. That buys a lot of goodwill.
It does. It's like how you like Morrissey, even though he's a fascist,
Mm.
you'll still give him money. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, he does make songs that I like, even though he promotes fascist politicians in England. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, right, right. No, but it's like those weirdos who like Michael Jackson and they're like
yeah,
music and I'm telling you, you want to get like a bunch of insane bots or weirdos to come on onto your Twitter account,
yeah.
say something about Michael Jackson.
Oh,
I posted something about that movie that's coming out. I said this is like a bad idea. And there's all these weirdo accounts were just like saying all this horrible shit about me. And I was like,
yeah,
what? I'm gonna delete this tweet. Like,
yeah.
but I just think it's funny with this guy is we don't know what this guy did wrong, but
Right.
because people like the product, they want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt.
People like the product a whole bunch. Yeah,
Yeah. But again, unfortunately, this guy might be, we don't know, has
yeah.
released yet.
I think
Probably
if it was something real
right now.
serious, we would have found out.
No, you'd be amazed how much they can control a story. Dude, if you ever watch Ray Donovan, hello?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Ray
Yeah.
Donovan's on the case.
God.
And I think I watched like one episode of that show.
Yeah. My
This
dad loves that show.
I know. I think you told me that. I think everybody's dad likes Ray Donovan.
Right.
You watched Ray Donovan last night? No, Dad. I did not watch Ray Donovan. Um,
Yeah.
I bet you when the show ends in like a month, we'll
Mhm.
find out like the details.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's probably true.
I bet it's nothing. Like, I bet it's not that serious. I think it's probably bullshit. It wouldn't shock me if they rehire him
Yeah.
with some restrictions or something. I heard the rumors was that like the only fan thing I think is stupid. That's
Oh
bullshit.
yeah. Yeah.
If he's
Yeah. I don't
difficult to work with, that's a different story. Maybe that's just something they're gonna have to like.
yeah.
Maybe they bring him on as like a consultant and he's not the head because he,
And
you know,
yeah.
who
Right.
knows? So again, I just thought that was weird. I was like, I remember it was like a week before the show was coming out. They were like, fine. I'm like, oh
That's
no.
crazy.
I we Marvel needs a hit. We can't have
They
this.
do. Yeah. I mean, they can't live off of Sony forever.
So the Sony verse.
Well, maybe they can.
Hey, dude, Madam Web's coming out in like a week
Yeah,
on
right,
Netflix. We'll be talking about that. We talked a lot about Madam Web, but we never actually saw the movie.
right, right.
Now we're going to see the movie.
Hmm.
We'll be talking about it
That'll be good.
in a couple of weeks. That's about 3 hours of Madam Web discussions and about maybe like 10 minutes of like current events.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it
Okay. So yeah, looking forward to the X-Men. But what's the deal with the X-Men? It's so
Oh,
woke. That's the problem today. Everything's so woke.
yeah, this is real disappointing. I guess as you had pointed out, it's not terribly surprising, but it's disappointing.
You realize I'm there in Seinfeld, right?
What now?
I was moving out to Seinfeld. Do you
Yeah,
not hear
yeah.
me? I was doing a Seinfeld impression.
That's what I said. I was like, it was real disappointing to hear this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Like
thought you were still talking about yeah, what's the deal?
no,
The
I was
show
because like
can't be
I've always like
anybody because everything's what the leftists have ruined the network
yeah.
TV. Like, what the
It
fuck
sh-
is he talking about?
it shouldn't be surprising. I know he's kind of like an
He's been
older
doing this for
reaction. Yeah,
years. This is not new. This
but
is
it's
like
still disappointing.
I he's always been kind of a douche.
Yeah.
Like, even like after Seinfeld, he never really did anything cool. Like, he did the fucking B movie.
Mm,
Like, the joke is supposedly he made some joke on like this is going back like 10 years
right.
about like he said he was gonna stop doing colleges or something. I was like, what? You were still I was like, are you really doing colleges still? Like, I didn't even think you were
Yeah.
anyway, but he's like, the kids today, they don't find jokes about handheld phones. They don't find the jokes about things from the 80s and 70s because they're people who live in the year 2010.
Yeah.
Why don't they get these things that I got at the age of 10 in the 60s, the 70s?
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's disappointing. So he's got that stupid
I
Pop
hate it
Tart
because
movie.
he's using the talking points that like right wingers use.
Yeah.
And I posted something about this, and somebody said like that they imagine that most of the people who like his content tend to be more progressive. So you're just like
Right.
off the people who like Seinfeld and all that stuff. Like, I think Larry David is really smart what he did with his
Hmm.
HBO show
In
because
what
we
way?
didn't really know who the fuck he was.
Right.
He had his little cameos throughout Seinfeld, but he was
Yeah.
never a character on the show. Like, I think his biggest character was he was the lawyer with the cape.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That's so funny. Why is your dad with a guy with a cape? George's dad.
Yeah.
But he did that show on HBO, kind of like in the early stages of like his show went on like I think before Sopranos aired, like even aired.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's how long Curb Enthusiasm was on. But what was
Mm.
great about it was like he was like, I want people to know I'm the one who fucking made this show. Like, it's called Seinfeld, but like it's my fucking
Right.
show. And
Yeah.
brilliant because and I think his politics are better, Larry David,
Yeah.
evolved with the times, but he also knows how to tell like inappropriate jokes
Right.
that are risque or
that will get laughed at too.
racist or whatever, but they're done in a way that works with the time.
Yeah.
And so Seinfeld makes this dumb comment on a podcast about how shows today don't take any risk or anything like that. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You were just on the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right.
He literally was just on that like a month ago. What about Always Sunny in Philadelphia? That
Mm.
show's been on for years. That show's
Yeah.
not PC.
How
What
long has that show been on? That's got to be like 12
20
years
years,
or so.
over 20 years.
Jeez, over
I mean,
20.
they're
Yeah.
not filming a new season every year.
Right, right.
They're making a new one that's coming out. I think they do one every like 2 or 3 years now.
Mm.
But it's been on like 20 years.
Yeah.
But he makes this dumb comment about how things are woke or the left
Mhm.
has ruined comedy. And it's like, what?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, shut the
Well,
fuck up. And why are you doing this? You want to promote your Pop-Tart movie?
just so stupid. This dude was like 38 dating a 17-year-old, and he's
Oh, God.
chiming in about.
Can I play something?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is comedian. I gotta find his name. I reposted it the other day. It goes back to like 2019 where he comes out on stage as Jerry Seinfeld.
Ugh.
And I'm gonna play it. It is so fucking I've seen it before in the past. Let me see if I got his name.
Mm.
Oh, here we go. Jeremy Kopelitz.
Okay.
I did a
Yep.
stand-up last night at 1990s Jerry Seinfeld doing a bit about his 17-year-old girlfriend. I retweeted it. The tweet's from 10/29, 2019. So it's
Right.
pretty old, but let
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I'm not hearing that.
I was talking about math homework. What is going on with that? Girlfriends, all they talk about is going to science class. A girlfriend's life revolves around home. They got homework, homeroom, and they want to run away from home and live with their 38-year-old celebrity boyfriends.
Mm.
I love the voice. It's like,
Yeah. That's a good one.
My girlfriend parents are the same age as you. What is the math? I'm studying for the SAT. I gotta know.
Mercy.
Why are they called parents? The pair that pays your rent? You can just live in my penthouse. I'm an adult man.
Mhm.
I'm very rich and famous. I'm 38 years old. I'm dating a 17-year-old. I'm going to prom next week. Prom. What a waste of a Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
what a waste of a Saturday.
I'm going to date and a chaperone. That's 2 proms for the price of 1.
Yeah.
2 proms. It's 2. I'm going to 2 proms. That's 2 proms too many for someone 2 times the age of his girlfriend plus 2 twice.
Twice.
Nice.
I'm 38 years old.
All right. You don't find that funny.
He just he put a bad taste in my mouth with all this stuff lately. You know,
but that's not him. That's a guy pretending to be Seinfeld.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like the shtick of Seinfeld, like the
but
I don't
that's
know, whatever.
What's the deal with man? When he say it twice,
That is funny. That is
2 times 2. Yeah, that was weird. I remember the show was out. It was like in the middle of the show, so it was at its like kind of at its.
Yeah.
And here's the
Peak.
funny thing about. So I tweeted this the other day about Jerry Seinfeld, and I made a joke. You know, it's like the joke on the whole, like you can't make Blazing Saddles today. Yeah, you can't make Blazing Saddles today because, well, one, they made it in the 70s, and we live in the 24. But you also can't make Blazing Saddles today because no one fucking watches westerns anymore. So it would have no cultural relevance to today.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what they're saying by the humor, but the joke was the humor of Blazing Saddles when it came out in the 70s was woke as shit. It's about a black sheriff and it making fun of racist people. I guarantee you, fucking people, when that movie came out, hated Blazing Saddles.
Oh, yeah.
Who make that joke, that lame thing about Blazing Saddles? So you can't make it today. Those motherfuckers back in the 70s would be bitching about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me what I wrote. I said about Seinfeld. I gotta find it.
Yeah.
You got any like music playing in the background while I look for my tweet?
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of some good
Just
music
hum
here.
something or talk about your favorite Seinfeld moment. Oh, here we go. You can't make Seinfeld today. That's 100% right. It would be canceled by a streaming service after one season. Seinfeld is the luckiest comedian to exist. His show did abysmal in the ratings until the third season.
Yeah.
Networks today would say that the algorithm doesn't think it works.
Yeah. I think
Most
that's
fucking
100% true.
luckiest. That's what I can't stand about these fucking people. He's like almost 70 years old. This guy is so fucking rich off of one fucking thing. Like
Yeah.
he did something about I didn't play the rest of the joke about his new show Cars with his 17-year-old girlfriend or whatever. Driving in cars with my 17-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah.
But like this fucking guy rich off of one fucking thing that was a team effort. His name was on it, but it was a team fucking effort. And he hasn't done anything really interesting. He's off the whole like, hey, it's Seinfeld. He
Yeah,
makes
he
this
really hasn't.
he does this dismissive bullshit, putting down anything that's come.
Mhm.
Excuse me, come out over the years. And the funny thing is, he brings the things he brings up.
Yeah.
The shows he brings up.
Oh yeah, he had
All in the Family, Cheers. He brings up a bunch of shows, but some of them like those shows were woke as fuck. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about, Seinfeld? Those shows had a progressive bent to it. They were not conservative in any way. So, and it's funny. You heard about Rob Schneider recently, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, do you know what I'm talking about? Rob Schneider. What happened recently to him?
Oh, you're talking about the former Saturday Night Live comedian, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
he did a whole. He's like a total right wing chud. He's gonna get
Yes.
anti-vax or not, but he did a
He
show recently
and he got like basically canceled at
on a right wing event because his
yeah,
comedy was like too edgy. But you don't see him going out there now saying, "Oh, those conservatives, they
right.
can't handle a joke." It's like
Yeah.
that's your audience now, Rob. I want Jerry to go do. I mean, what his observational humor from the 70s and 80s? What's the deal today with stick shift cars?
Right. Yeah. A1 steak sauce. What's the deal with that?
What's the deal with people writing checks at stores? Jerry, when's the last time you went into a store?
Yeah. Yeah. They
Like I'm just
well,
thinking like something antiquated, like all his references.
yeah.
What's the deal with the smoking section in an airplane?
Yeah. A lot of those have aged out of useful humor, like
I watched this video about Seinfeld today. I had it playing in the background. It was like a whole thing about, it had nothing to do with this. This was a couple months ago. It's called
yeah,
Renegade Nuts. He does a whole thing about Seinfeld, talks about the show in general. Says it's just like
yeah,
a product of the 90s. The show. I love the show, first of all.
yeah,
The show is great. Everybody's great on it. The funny thing about the show, he brings up like a really good point about Seinfeld's generation and people who are older than Seinfeld.
right.
He's like, think about the world back
Yeah.
then.
God.
Well, hold on, but he makes a really good point about information. You only thing you know in life is what you were taught in school,
Okay.
maybe college, and the newspaper that you read. There was no internet.
Yeah.
That's like the joke is like people would tune in to listen to Walter Cronkite. Yeah, there's no fucking anything else.
Right.
We tuned in to listen to Walter Cronkite. Who else are we gonna tune into?
Yeah.
Fucking Captain Kangaroo? Like that's who was giving the news. That's why I always love that whole like, yeah, there were less things on TV. There was less options.
Yep. It was a
Less,
big difference.
and it's funny, these people there, it's like younger people are actually going to be in some instances they're dumbasses, but they're going to be smarter than all the fucking boomers because they have access to so much more information that the boomers and people a little younger than them did not have access to.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a lot of these are people like
what?
A lot of this feels like pulling up this is an expression for it, basically where you like get rid of the lifeboats for everyone else, where you kind of gatekeep the advantages that you've had.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
He just sounds like a ditch. And it's like, dude, you're promoting your fucking Pop-Tart movie. Why do you have to do this? Like, just talk about
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. What's your favorite Pop-Tart? What's the deal? My favorite is the brown cinnamon and sugar one. What's the deal with people who like the strawberry with no frosting? You're eating a Pop-Tart.
That's not a good strategy at all.
What, the Pop-Tart thing? I think that's a better strategy.
Okay, fair.
Pop-Tarts then. What's the deal with wokeness and the far left ruining comedy? Like, I don't know.
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
And like I said, it drives me nuts. It's like so many people like him who are like, they're critiquing everyone else, and they were given every fucking advantage in life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the boomers in general. They had more affordable education, they had more affordable housing.
Yeah.
They had there were more programs, they had pensions that most people do not have.
Yep. Big difference.
Like, and they have the nerve to like say to younger people about avocado toast or some bullshit.
Yeah, sacrifice, put your back into it.
You motherfuckers voted for Reagan.
Yeah, come on.
And you by voting for Reagan, you basically ruined your lineage. You financially destroyed your lineage.
You traded away all of your possessions for like magic beans.
For sunny optimism that because Jimmy Carter said some things that were a little too serious. So whatever. Seinfeld's a dipshit. He always has been. I like the show. I like the Jerry character on the show. He's a dipshit on the show too, but he's a funny dipshit. He's like
he's harmless, yeah. Easy to root for,
Easy to root for. I watched this other thing about Seinfeld after it was about Elaine.
Yeah.
And how her character in the beginning is this like sweet, kind of naive.
Yep.
Watch her in the last season. She just is like evil, vindictive character. It's
for
like,
sure.
Guys, like watch her show. It's like you can watch Seinfeld and it's really Elaine Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Like she becomes this like you can even look at her hair. Like you remember like the old episode? She has
like
bun and it looks like she came off the prairie or something. Like and then like in the later seasons, like her hair's like more like almost villainous.
All right, cool.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Right. That's the problem, Joseph. You're probably sitting there going, listen, I'm not going to listen to your woke trash.
That's right.
Everything is just too woke these days. You can never make.
Yeah. Right. They you have to go above and beyond, to get
funny. And before we move on, the funniest thing I always think about the Seinfeld thing that no one ever really brings up about this Shoshana Longstein, which was his girlfriend at the time, is that if you look at pictures of him next to her, there's a similar face structure. In that way, she could be his fucking kid. And that's why it's creepy. Here we go. Last thing. This is Seinfeld. This is something creepy. Did you see pictures of Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers with his 20-year-old girlfriend on Twitter?
No.
You have no, I'm serious. Go on Twitter and just type Anthony Kiedis' girlfriend. Anthony Kiedis and girlfriend. And you could tell me this girl looks like his kid. She's only like 20 years old. I think he's like 102.
Yeah, he's up there.
He's in his 60s, like early 60s or something. He's giving it away now.
All right, hold on, let me find this. All right, so what am I looking for with the girl?
Just Anthony Kiedis' girlfriend. I bet if you just type that in on Twitter, it'll show up here.
It keeps autocorrecting Anthony to anything. And
yeah, I just looked it up. Anthony Kiedis. Just type it in, and if you scroll down, there's a photo of him holding his girlfriend who's 20. But man, she looks like she's 12. It is creepy.
Oh yeah, I see. Oh my god.
He looks like it looks like he's holding his kid. Right. Oh, Dad, you're embarrassing me.
Oof. That's rough.
Yeah. What's the deal with everyone gives me flack for Shoshana Longstein? I was only 38.
Yeah.
He's 62. He's hanging out with his grandkid.
Well, he was 38. So let's see. I'm going to do my rule here. 38 divided by 2 equals plus 7 No, he should have limited himself to ages 26 and above. So sorry.
Seinfeld, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that was that's why he said it was half age
Yeah,
minus
half plus 7.
2 plus 2.
God.
Like
Oh,
you're going to the set at Seinfeld, and then the star of the show shows up with this high school girlfriend.
yeah,
And you're
that's
just
gross.
like she's pretty, but
Oh yeah, she is.
yeah, but she's a kid. What do you guys talk
Yeah.
about? Talk
Yep.
about, how
Right.
do you connect? Oh, we
That's
played
it.
waves. Oh.
I know I've said this before, like I taught high school for a number of years. And if you just casually look at some of these high school kids, you're like, wow, they look like it'd be hard to tell if they're a high school kid or a young adult. And it's like that for a half second until they open their mouths. And then you're like, oh, they're children. They're children. They have now again, high school people, they of course they're starting to develop, big complicated feelings and concerns, and they have real life problems and everything. But like, man, there's a reason 17-year-olds aren't allowed to do a lot of things because they're children.
Yeah,
I mean,
their
again,
brains are not fully developed.
right, not to diminish the significance or whatever their experiences, but they're for the most part kids. They like you know the latest pop singer a lot. They
The Anthony Kiedis thing is creepier though, because
yeah,
I would have thought that was like his 14-year-old daughter.
yeah, yeah. It looks like a little kid. That's
Yeah.
gross. uh,
Dad, you're embarrassing me. I'm not your dad. I'm your 1-year-old boyfriend.
right.
Oh yeah, sorry.
His mustache doesn't help.
No, yeah, the mustache. It's like you thought it was creepier. Hold on, let me give me a
Right.
mustache.
Give me a John Waters. Give me a John.
Let me grow a John Waters real quick.
Woof.
Grow a 70s porn stash real. You see that guy running for Senate in like Wisconsin? He's some transplant from like California.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
He's got that gay porno star mustache. It's
Yeah.
fucking funny.
Mm,
I'm like,
yeah.
this guy's a clown. Like, okay.
All right.
Speaking of,
Clowns.
well, this isn't clown. The campus protests.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, we're doing the first.
They're on
Yeah.
to, I guess, more serious stuff.
Yeah. This is really serious. Um. This is awful.
I can't stand the people who try to excuse the January 6 people that
Yeah.
like comparing these
They
people.
need to pipe down. Yeah.
They need to shut the fuck up. They're like, okay, so I didn't know fully exactly what these. I mean, I figured these protests were just about like they're just
Yeah. Yeah.
like what's going on in Israel. But the protests were actually more serious. At least the one in Colombia, it was like there was a school. They're opening a sister
Yep.
location in Israel, and there's an apartheid about. So not just that you have this genocide happening, but you also have people who would not be able to attend,
Right.
and you have students who are Palestinian in the United States going to the school.
You're paying for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying for it, so it's fucked up. This is what happened in the 80s. The way there was pressure to stop apartheid in South Africa was that you got companies to divest from
Yes.
South Africa.
That was the big thing.
Years.
Right.
It took years. Like I think like Coca-Cola was a big deal. There was like lots of like that's how you end this shit. But the problem is they're not divesting. The United States is not divesting from Israel.
Well, there's a lot of states within the United States that ban divesting, right? Like that you have to do business with Israel. I mean,
Really?
like that's yeah. There's a lot of I know Florida had one. I think this predates
All this shit that's going on.
What do they call that? What are the initials? It's not obviously DEI. It's B D. What do you know what I'm talking about? The ban, divest, and something else.
Oh.
Anyway, there are so this is
Well, I
called
wouldn't even say the school. It's like even divesting. It's the fact that you're willing to open up a location, knowing that like students that go to the school here would not be able to attend that school.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You're endorsing This actually years ago, WWE got some shit for doing a bunch of stuff with the Saudis, and I think the joke is I think the Saudis own WWE now. I think
Could
McMahon
be,
sold it
yeah.
to some company that's basically just like a Saudi-owned company.
Right.
But people like women could not wrestle. The women wrestlers, like they're like you, all the things that you do here. I wouldn't say WWE is this progressive company in any way,
No.
but compared to Saudi Arabia, it might as well be like
Right. Yeah.
fucking a Shangri-La, hippie Shangri-La.
Yeah. That's
You
still
know?
true.
Like there's rights that like, so there was like a hypocrisy. Like, how could you make your wrestlers perform here? This is like if they're not willing to change their backwards ways, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, but I know that's what supposedly the protest in Colombia was about. And then, of course, the protests open up. I mean, obviously, the main point is like, this is horrible. This needs to stop. But they just voted on something today. It was like, and I hate, it's like, it's anti-Semitic to criticize Israel, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess they voted on that today.
Yeah, but there's a weird thing because I read the bill. It's like literally it's like half a page long. There's a section at the bottom that says like none of this should be read to mean that that your First Amendment rights still trump this. And they think that's kind of like enough of a loophole so that uh it would survive a challenge in court.
Well, it's like, it's first of all, as a Jewish person,
Yeah.
to link everything Judaism to Israel is a form of anti-Semitism.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, I never been there. I don't have family from there. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to go there now. That's not anti-Semitic on my part. I think it's anti-Semitic when somebody says to me, "Go back to Israel." That's incredibly anti-Semitic. Like, wait, why the fuck would I go there? Like,
right. Or which, if they, I mean, it's just such a complicated thing.
And the thing I don't like about this too, you see all these like right-wing politicians. This is the thing that's making me boggling my mind. It's like you see all these right-wing politicians who are like, they're the ones now who are now the pro-Jewish.
Right.
They're the ones that, even though they've been pushing all these blood libel tropes,
right, they'll still
replacement theory tropes for years and still do.
They will, in the same breath, talk about Soros-funded prosecutors and stuff, and then say you can't. In my state, I'll put you in jail for 2 years if you say anything anti-Semitic, like those Soros-funded. I mean, it's like really like whiplash, Like
it's like it's mind-bending. It's absolutely like fucking Greg Abbott. So he posted that May is like pro-Judaism month, and I was like, okay. But then I was talking to Leah about it. I'm like, okay. I was talking to my wife about this. I said, these people, anytime they do this, there's something up. What is May?
Yeah.
And it's like actually like a Muslim Heritage Month or something.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, these they pit. This is what I always say to conservative Jewish people. These people don't fucking like you. And they will use you to pit you against another marginalized group, another minority. This is what they fucking do. And trust me, when they're done with that group, they're going after you, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's the thing is that
you'll just be the ones that get thrown in later.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of created a real complicated thing for a lot of people.
And it is pissing me off too, because I think there's a erasure to all the Jewish people, the Jewish students that are part of the protesters.
Oh yeah.
And you got someone like Ted Cruz being like, "You're the anti-Semite," and it's like, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
You fuck. What are you talking about?
It's kind of galling too how like all these right-wing people are now suddenly like they're the defenders of like what they're the defenders of this, that they've taken it upon themselves. Like we're gonna protect, like
these motherfuckers had Nazi flags on January 6th. These were the motherfuckers that defended the Unite the Right people in Charlottesville.
Yeah. Well, and they spent, like we were talking about this before we started recording tonight, in Texas and in Florida, Abbott and DeSantis spent the last 2 or 3 years pushing through laws that demanded absolute free speech on campus because they wanted Ben Shapiro to be able to show up and talk on campus. And they wanted,
Abbott did that. And then what did Abbott do recently?
and now he's like, well, people are engaging in free speech on campus. I'm going to send in the National Guard, or the state guard. It's just like
I don't think what Texas is getting enough attention, like how bad that was. I saw like that was shit.
The University of Texas down in Austin was real bad. I would say the UCLA one seems the worst. Have you seen that footage of police with shotguns?
No.
Okay, there's a video. If you just type in UCLA protest or whatever and hit video, you have to watch it for a second or two, but you see a cop in riot gear and he has a shotgun and he's using rubber bullets, but they say these rubber bullets can obviously break.
During the Floyd protest, I remember there was a picture of a girl getting shot with a rubber bullet. Her whole face, her nose busted, there's blood everywhere.
And this guy's just pumping shotgun rounds into the crowd.
They could kill people. People have lost eyes. There were people who lost eyes during the Floyd protest because of that type of thing. So people can get permanent damage from that shit.
Yeah. And even like the headline of the New York Times tonight was that faculty and students, and I assume they're talking to ones that weren't involved in the protest, but they're just like wondering, how did this happen? Like, I keep hearing about these Semitic, death to Israel, but I've not seen any videos of them. I'm not doubting that it's never happened, but like,
well, there's always going to be at protests you go to. There's always going to be some extreme faction or some group, and those are the ones. I remember I went to a protest and some asshole lit up a garbage can with a Molotov cocktail. And I was like, "What the fuck you doing, man? Like, this is not helping. This is not." Right. And then he was just a shithead. He just wanted to be, he could be at any fucking protest. He just wants to be a shithead. It's like, but that's what the media will look at. They'll just look at that guy, and then everyone else gets dismissed.
Yeah. It is. It's frustrating. I do know that it's just made weird bedfellows, I guess is the right way to say it. Like Chuck Schumer talking about not tolerating these protests is like confusing to me. There's this reporter I follow.
Yes, even Biden said some bullshit about just don't destroy property and like that. But it's like the cops are the ones that are escalating this shit.
This reporter I follow and who I genuinely like, and he has good takes on like 99% of the stuff. He tweeted a photo of a mugshot of a kid who'd gotten arrested. And he said, this will be quite the flex when you're an adult. You can tell your kids how you supported a terrorist group, And I was like, I even tweeted back to him. I was like, there's got to be some middle ground here. Like
it's ridiculous to say that by
you can support
calling out what Israel's doing is not a support of Hamas.
Yeah, you can support
Hamas is bad and also say that Israel is bad.
Right. Exactly. You can say Hamas is terrible. Hamas might be even worse than it. Let's just say Hamas is worse than Israel. And Israel's still bad.
I don't know how they could be. They don't have the resources to be worse. You know what I mean?
But the family I saw carrying their dead toddler out of a collapsed building, I don't think they're awful, and I would like them not to be bombed. You know, I mean, like you can say that and not be a terrorist sympathizer.
It's like, okay, let's say somebody loses their family, a young guy.
Right.
What do you think he's going to do now? If
he's
going to go join some faction that he thinks will protect him, and it's bullshit. I've had this conversation. I remember I had this argument with my dad around the time of the Iraq War, and I said, like, all this is going to do is create what, quote unquote, more terrorists. Like,
it will.
You know what I mean? Or like, quote unquote, meaning like it's ridiculous to say all these people are fucking terrorists. It's like,
well, they're good. I mean, like terrorist or freedom fighter or whatever you want to call them. I mean, like if you had your family killed and your house bombed and there's no opportunity and there's no jobs and there's no food or electricity or water, what are you gonna do? You're gonna react poorly,
And then
probably.
the other like really what I call like disingenuous thing, a lot of like defenders of what Israel's doing will say, well, the Palestinians voted for Hamas thing, so this was their decision. And it's
Yeah,
like,
but
what are you
that's
fucking talking about? No one did. You're talking about something back in 2006. Most of
yeah,
these people were not alive. A lot of these people, yeah, I'm sure they really voted for Hamas.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Get the fuck out of here.
and the kids didn't vote for Hamas. There's like kids
Exactly.
getting slaughtered, so the whole thing's
That's
just
why I
been
said it's
real,
disingenuous.
yeah. And I worry about this. I mean, obviously from like an emotional standpoint, if I worry about the actual humans who are losing their lives, but like this is this seems to me like a trap that Republicans are successfully luring Democrats into
Yeah, I think so too.
because
The
the
Republicans are in line with the Likud party
yeah,
in Israel, and this is sabotaging. That's why when I'll speaking of seconds, but like when Trump says like this wouldn't happen under me,
right.
he's right. It wouldn't because he would be working in line with
Yeah.
Netanyahu, and yeah. All right, sorry, what?
No, it's just frustrating. I think this will come back to haunt the Democrats. I don't pretend to know the answer, but like at
It's
the
a no-win
minimum,
situation
yeah, at the
because
minimum, Biden should be like, look, we're not giving you more weapons, or here are some defensive weapons, or look, we are as the United States going to start sending helicopters with food and medical supplies in. And
well, that's the
that's
thing. Haven't they already started doing that, and the Israelis are like sabotaging it?
yeah. But the US should send in with I don't know, I don't know what it should be done, but like the US should say we're sending in these things that they need to receive them. And if they're not, then that's a problem. Like fucking kids they don't have any water, you know?
I don't
So
know. This whole thing is really ugly, and like United States has like within its politicians, you got
mm,
people who supported January 6th. Like these are
right.
like we're not in a civil war, but like
And it's
people
just
are
so
not even like your ally in your own country. Like, and the Likud party is basically just the Republican Party in Israel. I just think like this whole thing is just one.
yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing with like Putin choosing to invade Ukraine during the Biden
Yeah,
administration.
it's just chaos. It's
Trump would have just
people
gave him the Ukraine or let the Ukraine just collapse. That's what would have happened. He
this
would have.
seems like it's cooked up in a lab by Steve Bannon and Roger Stone, this kind of thing. And I'll bet you there are outside agitators at these protests that are right leaning. And I'll bet you a lot of things. So
Oh yeah, a lot of it, and the media.
yeah,
I don't know. I think everything is there to sabotage. Well, one, there's people who are, obviously getting killed and
yeah.
destroyed. I mean, they keep bombing like hospitals. I don't even know. I don't even know how that
It's
area
nothing. What
is
is
that area
left in
even livable
Gaza?
anymore? Can you even
Yeah,
live there? It's like,
I don't know what's left there. I
yeah.
know there's a lot of displaced people there, but I don't know what's left.
And then like you hear about like it's just so gross. And the thing with the colleges, the right loves to agitate the stuff with the colleges.
Yeah, this is a lot of this is just an anti-college
This
movement.
is reminding me of the Floyd protest. I'm watching this. This is exactly the right escalated the
Yeah.
Floyd protest, and then they would send in the cops, and the cops would be agitate and beat the shit, and then say, "Look, they're burning down." They still to this day the right lies about cities being burnt down by the George Floyd protest.
Well, all you need
Bullshit.
to know about this, and this is, I know, the next item on our list, is if Lauren Boebert shows up for photo ops, then it's a con,
Yeah,
right? Lauren
yeah.
Boebert
Lauren Boebert.
she does not have a deeply held conviction about geopolitics. I don't think she could identify any of these
I
places on
had
a
it. Could she
map,
find Israel on the map?
right? She is there because she has been told or maybe intuits that there's political points to be made, and this is like it's easy points, and
She
that's why
showed
you
up with
see
a She showed up and she tried bullying her way through,
Yep.
and she tried ripping down a Palestinian flag that was put up.
Yes.
Like stopped her. But the funny thing is, she couldn't do it.
No.
She tugged. She tugged away on that flag. She tried jacking that flag off.
Yep. Yeah.
But the flag was not relieved from its post. It stayed.
Yeah.
Did not come to a climax of any kind.
Nope. She did not get that PL orgasm. Yeah, it was. Once Lauren Boebert shows up on the scene, the adults have left. The serious thinkers aren't engaging.
That's what I said. I'm like, if the first of all, if the cops are coming into a protest and they're beating the shit out of these people or arresting them on site, shooting them with bullets, guess what? This protest is on the right side of history.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you see Nazis walking down the street, the cops just sit there.
That's right. That's the problem.
I'm not gonna shoot my cousin. It's why you don't see Batman and Bruce Wayne in the same place at the same time. You can't arrest yourself.
No.
Why'd you do that? That's silly.
Right. Got to cut yourself some slack.
Someone made a joke and said, you know how they have like firemen calendars? They sell like calendars for firemen. It's like the jokers with the shirts off and all that.
Right.
There's a reason why you don't see the cop ones, because then you would see the Nazi tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that scene in American History X in the end of the movie when it so obviously the whole movie happens.
Yeah.
Edward
Norton. Yeah.
Edward Norton's character goes through that transformation. Realize, Edward Furlong ends up getting killed. So it's kind of like the result of what his brother did. So,
right.
But they have a flashback in the beginning that takes place in the past with the dad who was a cop.
Oh, yeah.
All this racist shit at the table. And it's like, that's where it starts. Edward Norton was not a Nazi yet.
No.
Long's character was like a little kid, and the cop was just saying all kinds of like racist. The cop dad was saying all kinds of racist shit. And I'm not saying that this is a documentary, but
right.
Let me tell you,
American History X.
What?
American History X.
Yeah. I mean, but it's based on like truth.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's basically the story not the story, but it's like, that type of story is true. That does happen.
I say, like, I get annoyed by someone like Jerry Seinfeld saying stuff about anytime you hear this thing about woke or anti-left or like that, like, dude, you're repeating shit that it starts with the Nazis. They're the ones that pushed the whole anti-woke, anti-left thing, and the they're taking everything away from you. And then it trickles down to the right, to the more accepted right wing. And then it gets trickled down to like the moderates. And it's like, dude, you're just you're regurgitating talking points that like fucking some piece of shit Groiper says. Like,
yeah. Well, this is like the dynamic that they talked about in X-Men tonight, where people start to feel disaffected or disempowered, and then they meet up in what they call them dial-up chat rooms in the X-Men. But next thing you know,
right, because it is supposed to take place in the 90s.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was a nice detail. But yeah.
Meet in chat rooms and shit like that. That's where it was back in the day before you had Twitter.
Yeah, and that's what it is now. I mean, it's yeah. Well,
again, like I said, like if Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, Greg Abbott, they're the ones defending what Israel's doing.
It's like easy read.
You are on the wrong.
Yeah,
if you're going along with it, and you see something like Ted Cruz. These are bad people.
Right. They are.
It's not because we have political differences.
No, they're just shitty people.
Got political differences. No. It's because they're bad people.
Tom Cotton spent the last 6 months bitching about how conservatives weren't treated fairly on campus because they couldn't talk about the great replacement theory in class. And then one kid yells
an anti-Jewish conspiracy.
Yeah. And then one kid says free Palestine, and Tom Cotton wants to deport them to Syria. I mean, it's like, these aren't good people. They aren't serious people.
You're an anti-Semite. Ted, my last name's Israel.
Yeah, well, I mean, they will. That's the first thing that they would accuse you of.
Yeah.
And that's a tough. That Look,
You want to rob Israel? No, that's my name.
If you accuse a right winger of being anti-Semitic, they'll just laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother them. Right. But that's
you're the one telling what's going on here. It's like you said, it all in one sentence.
Yeah.
They'll defend like Israel,
right.
but then start pushing George Soros, which is like
I saw that. I forget who it was, but
anti-Semitic trope.
Yeah, it was someone, I want to say it was like Monica Crowley or something. It was some ghoul on Fox or something, and where like she's talking about the rise in anti-Semitism in one tweet, and literally the next tweet was like going on about George Soros funded DAs and stuff like that. It's like, jeez. Anyway,
yeah,
who's not
baffling. It is.
It is. It's so frustrating.
Oh, this was great. And before we move on, this one is just disgusting. I can't believe this is true. I blocked this guy because I don't want to see him, but his posts always show up. Tweets always show up, and someone will take a screenshot.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro. RNC research. Breaking, the Biden administration is considering welcoming refugees from Gaza into the United States. Okay, there's probably some truth to that, but that's RNC research, which is a
right. Yep.
Republican Twitter account.
It is.
Ben Shapiro writes, no. The answer is no. There's a reason Egypt won't take them. Saudi won't take them. Jordan won't take them. The civilian population of Gaza supports Hamas. All right, I'm going to stop doing that. Support Hamas. Someone'd be like, you just sound the same. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Hamas, by every available metric, why would we possibly import them to the United States? Totally insane. Okay. This is so, like, I could go on his account. I could probably go see it if I wanted and see if this is true or not that he wrote this. This is so historically gross. He had family that died in the Holocaust. This is what I tweeted this. I said, Ben Shapiro had family that died in the Holocaust. He should look up the history of countries, even the U.S., denying Jewish refugees entering their countries. They all perished in the concentration camps. That is a known fact. That Hitler, they sent on a boat a bunch of Jewish people, refugees. United States rejected them.
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah, you were alive back then.
Well, no, but I do remember this.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about it.
And it's like, and those people were put back on the boat, sent back to Germany, or sent to the concentration camps. And I would guarantee you that the majority, not all of them, most of them died in the concentration camp.
Yeah.
Picture this like little kid. And it's like that little kid died in the concentration camp. Franklin D. Roosevelt sucked. There's a lot of bad things Franklin D. Roosevelt did. He did the fucking internment camps with the Japanese. That was horrible. It wasn't just it was everywhere. It was not just like, oh, we're just putting you in there. It was like a theft. They stole people's like businesses.
Yeah. George Takei grew up in one.
Yeah.
I mean, he talks about it on Twitter sometimes.
But like Ben Shapiro is such a piece of shit. Does he not? He's doing it's like, do you not see?
They don't care.
The historical contradictions here, Ben. Like imagine these people that you claim support Hamas. That's your family. It's 1940. This is your family, and they're being rejected by different countries.
Right.
What the? It is. I seriously don't think Ben Shapiro is Jewish. I really do believe that he's like an evangelical.
Could be.
He pushes Judeo-Christian shit. It's like, what?
That
Judaism. I hate that guy. He sucks.
That part never rang true.
Sucks. He sucks. He's the worst.
Well, speaking of the worst, Donald Trump's in court.
They don't want me in out there. I could be fighting the protesters, but I'm stuck in court.
The big news is
I was president. Now this would happen. There'd be peace on the street.
He was found in contempt of court a bunch, like 9 times, and he got a fine. I think he was at another contempt hearing today, and it looks like the judge is going to find him in contempt again.
What is it, like $9,000 or something a day or something?
It's $1,000 per instance. So
that's
if he tweeted, that's the New York state maximum.
Take it out of the Lara, it's done. Take it out of the RNC.
I would say that there's a possibility they get another. Uh, right now, I think they have one album that they released. Uh,
What? What are you talking about?
No,
What are you talking about? What album?
the Trump, the USA Singers.
What does that have to do with trumping in court? I'm sorry, I'm missing a joke here.
No, there's a whole scenario outside the courtroom. The people have gathered, and the Trump singing people there. You weren't the one who sent me that text?
No, I don't think so.
The guy with all the Trump paraphernalia on, Trump socks, Trump shorts.
I mean, I saw some video of like some guy selling shit. Yeah, of course, they're
Oh,
all grifters.
well,
It's like a series of grifters. It's like it's one grift after another. That's why Trump's like the Amora. No, he's like the whale, and there's all the Amoras, and it's just like
yeah,
one. It's like he's like a multi-marketing level. He's a
yeah,
multi-level marketing scheme. And
multi-level marketing.
that's what MAGA really is, and it's just. And then some people get in early and then they sell products to dumber people, and those people sell their products to dumber people, and it just gets down and down, trickles down. And Trump's like the head, you know? That's
Well,
what
he was fined for contempt. They had another hearing today.
the
They
fart.
say he's what'd you say?
He farts in court.
He's falling asleep. They say he falls asleep all the time. I
Colin
real
Joe said he farts himself awake when
That's
he
great.
or he farts himself. Oh, hey, where am I?
Well, you know what's bothering him? He tweets all the time, or he truth socials all the time about how he's not really asleep. He's just focusing intently on the case and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. He's in the
I
land
don't.
of chocolate, like Homer. Remember that episode?
Yeah, with the bunny.
Land of chocolate. That was 4 hours ago.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the Trump trial is going. It looks bad. Everyone says it looks real bad for him.
Wait, this is the one about the Stormy Daniels one, right?
Yes, but the DA's kind of done something interesting where he's making it about specifically about the election. Like that's the real crime here, is that you were doing all of this to influence an election. And that's why it isn't just a normal instance of, well, I deal with the tabloids all the time because I'm a celebrity and this, that, and whatever. It's like, no, you're getting them to provide services for you that you're not
Well, the
reporting.
guy who runs like the National Choir was like a Trump supporter.
Pecker.
Yeah, David
Yeah.
Pecker.
He was,
Penis.
but like
David Penis is his proper name.
I think honestly, like of all the anybody who deals with Trump at one point or another has to realize that they might wind up in court. And I think that there are some
Well,
people.
those type of people are the kind of people that might wind up in court because of Trump, but they also will probably wind up in court for other shit they've done that has nothing to do with Trump
Yeah,
because
but I
that's the
think
kind of people he deals with.
I think of those people, there's two different kinds. And the most common kind is the Mike Liddell, uh, Rudy Giuliani, who will like gladly go to prison for Trump. But then there's the Pecker kind where they're like, yeah, I'm not going to lie on the stand. I'm just going to tell what happened and
Yeah.
roll. He's Pecker's smart enough to like, he's not going to prison
Yeah, I'm not
to
gonna go to
protect.
fucking prison over Trump. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. And those are rare. That type of person's rare. That woman everyone loves now, not the intern, but the woman who talked about the CIA. You know what I'm talking about? I forget her name. Not Hope Hicks. It's the other
Yeah,
one that
Hope
they took.
Hicks is probably still a diehard Trumper.
Oh yeah.
I know what you're talking about. She, I forgot her name, but she spoke out a lot during the impeachment, I think. And
Yep. And she comes across as being Cassidy Hutchinson.
yeah,
She comes across now as a hero, but she's not. She's just
no,
smart enough to be like Pecker
she knows
in
how to
that.
read the tea leaves, you know?
Yeah, Cassidy Hutchinson doesn't want to go to prison for
Well,
Trump.
it's also like she's like one of those type people, like, again, it's like there's some of these people that are smarter and realize like there's a good chance that Trump is in a normal world, hopefully Trump will lose.
Right,
And I want to be independent from Trump. So when I run for office in 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, I can say I didn't support Trump back then. That's what's
right.
going on with people like Eye Patch McCain and
Yep.
lady that South Carolina governor. What's her name? Not Julia Louis, the one who looks like a weird Julia Louis-Dreyfus clone, like it's kind of a squinch, kind of looks like.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah.
She just ran for president. She was the only one
Nikki
that
Haley. That's right.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Like
Nikki
they
Haley.
could they could distance themselves. They have the same shitty
Right.
politics, but they could distance themselves so that
But
when they
they're
run in 2 years or 4 years for something, they can come off as normal
Yeah.
and not
this
MAGA.
is 1 out of 20 of Trump supporters are like that, maybe, or 1 out of 50.
20. It's like 1 out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got like Pecker, Hutchinson, Nikki Haley, maybe if Liz Cheney, maybe Liz Cheney a little more pronounced, but like that's what Trump is going through. So Trump, they say he's like kind of already losing his shit, but like in a week they're gonna have Michael Cohen on the stand, and they say he's just not going to be able to cope. He's gonna like get out
Michael Cohen's on there.
Yeah, he's just gonna lose his shit.
Don't listen to that man. He's a jerk. Don't
It's
listen.
They say this is like probably the worst experience Trump has ever had.
Well, this is like this is probably the most he's actually facing, right? In person. Like, this is the guy who would never do the White House Correspondents' dinner without reviews.
He just has to sit there and listen to people talk shit about him.
Yeah. And there's nothing he could do about it because
and he probably doesn't understand most of it. Like, because I'll bet you a lot of the testimony isn't necessarily salacious. I'll bet you it's just like some technical details, like referring to line item 19 on ledger page 47, and that's kind of like just bore him to tears. It's really hilarious. I mean, this is like, in a way, God, I wish they had cameras in that courtroom. But anyway, so that's what Trump's been doing. And he's not on the campaign stand. Yeah,
like I said, I think these court cases hurt Trump. I do
too.
I don't think it's like, oh, if he's not out there saying dumb stuff. No, dude, the more he's out there in court, you normalize that this guy's a fucking criminal.
And like, that's another thing that I don't understand about Republicans, because they're like, if you put Trump in jail, you'll only make him stronger. Well, what is the first thing you want to do when you take power? Put all our enemies in jail. Well, won't that make them stronger?
So powerful, then.
Yeah, right. Like,
enemies in jail. That's just going to make them even stronger.
Yeah, like none of the logic adds up. They're
just
the
same people who said that when Tucker Carlson got fired, he'd become more powerful than that because he was not restrained by Fox News anymore. And it was like, no, the opposite happened.
Yeah.
Within a couple of years, you won't even know he'll just be
he's so irrelevant.
Michael Savage, and people will be like, who?
Yeah.
Like, I know who Michael Savage is, but I guarantee if you brought Michael Savage to your average person, they'd be like,
no one would know.
That guy
no one would know, So anyway, as all this is going on, Trump's trial.
I tweeted, with everything going on, I still think letting President Crime back in office is a very bad idea. Like darkest timeline bad.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of President Crime,
No, it's just
I'm President Crime.
It's a lot of crimes.
I have a lot of crime. That's why they call me President Crime, because I'm the president of crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not because he was president, because it's like he's so many crimes that he becomes president. Like the king of cartoons in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Like the Duke of Doubt, yeah.
The Duke of Doubt, what's that?
The Duke of Doubt. Remember when Burger King tried their own like version of McDonald's Land, where the Burger King,
Burger King was.
Okay, so there was a Burger King, but then there's the Duke of Doubt, and whenever the Burger King was
negative, a little too cerebral. I can understand what a hamburglar is. I get that. Robble, he steals cheeseburgers.
The Burger King would be like, my flame broiled Whopper, you can have it your way, and the Duke of Doubt would be like, I doubt it.
That's a little too cerebral.
No, look it up. The Duke of Doubt too looked like a fancy stuck-up puppet. Duke
kind of gay. Like a gay.
I think Hanna-Barbera. No, that was McDonald's.
I've never seen this before.
You've never seen the Duke of Doubt?
No, it's fucking frightening.
Yeah, there's a couple of other characters. I forget Duke of Doubt. Yeah, Duke
Ew.
of Doubt.
No, kill it. I don't buy it.
I forgot how creepy that
Ew,
looked.
look at this thing. I've never even heard of
You've
this.
never heard of the Duke of... Yeah, that's the
No,
one I'm looking at.
you just aged yourself. This is probably like 70s Burger King or something.
Yeah.
The Duke of Down, I think again, like that's a little too cerebral. Like, what are we doubting here? I don't get it. Like, you're a fast food place. Like, what? What's going on here? Like I said, the hamburger works because it's like we're a hamburger place, and here's this little criminal who steals hamburgers because that's his name. He's the Hamburglar. I get it. I understand it, you know?
All right.
I don't understand
Yeah.
Grimace though. Grimace, I don't get. That thing's fucking weird.
Yeah, that
But
is
the Duke of
crazy.
Doubt is a little too like I don't know. It's like philosophical. It's like, dude,
It is.
here. I'm just here to get a Whopper. You
I
know,
think
I don't need
therefore I
to be
am.
lectured about the doubting my.
Well, check your phone in a second because you're also going to get a great eye of Sir Shake-a-Lot, the Wizard of Fries, and the Burger Thing, all of which
Oh, I
were.
do not like Sir Shake a lot at all. There's something I feel like he's got like mentally deficient. Like they would have like the court
Yeah,
jester really was like somebody who is like
right. And like, yeah,
considered mentally disabled of some kind. And I
right.
feel like Sir Shakes a lot, which sounds like he has like some kind
Epilepsy or something.
like so something wrong with them. I don't like that. I don't care for the Duke of Doubt. The Wizard of Fries is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, it's a robot with fries for his head.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm fine with that. That one works. And it looks like R2D2, so that's good.
Mhm.
It probably worked in the 70s. I like that.
Yeah.
And then the burger thing, I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what the burger thing is. That thing
Yeah.
can fuck off. I don't like Sir Shake a lot. There's something wrong with this guy. He's got like he's stemming. There's something kind of sad. I hope
I hope he got the help he needs.
yeah, exactly. I hope he just needs like some structure and some resources to get
A
him help.
group home.
Yeah. This guy, Burger King's putting this poor guy out. Like, I don't like that. And then the Duke of Doubt is like, I don't like that guy either. He sucks. The Burger King's fine because it's just like, hey, it's
I'm
Burger
the
King.
Burger King.
I'm
Yeah.
literally like it's in the name, you know? Like McDonald's never had a McDonald. Like I guess Ronald McDonald kind of counts, but he's just like Ronald, just happens to have the last name McDonald.
Yeah.
But you don't have like see the Burger King is perfect because it's like that's literally the name.
Right. He's the king of burgers.
No one wants McDonald's. Like, hey, how you doing? It's me, McDonald's.
It's crazy that Ronald wasn't the mayor, you know?
Well, you had Mayor McCheese. See, Ronald is kind of like Jesus. He's there to like he's like a Jesus character. See, he's not there to make the rules. You got the sheriff,
right.
Sheriff, the mayor, McCheese, the Big Mac, who of course was
Grimace,
cop. Grimace, who was evil, but then changed his ways thanks to Ronald. He became part of his group, the and
he was like one of the disciples that used to be like a tax collector.
Yeah, and then there's obviously the Hamburglers, Judas.
Right. Yes.
You know it. 30's cheap. Just give me 30 hamburgers.
All adds up.
It all adds up. But like he's not there to create the rules. The money lenders. Ronald's there.
All right. Well, let me shift back a bit. So we've had these.
Wait, no, I could just talk about Sir Shakes a lot for like hours. This drawing's killing me. His legs are made of cups, and his arms are made of cups, and his face, he's just this is exploiting severe chemical problems.
You don't remember? You don't have any recollection of these?
No, this campaign came and went. I remember there was a Burger King like toy when I was a kid, like a big doll. Yeah. But I guarantee you, if you look it up, this campaign probably ended like before my core memories. Let's see, they have like a date. It says 1970s. I was born in 77. Croft like mascot.
Yeah.
The McDonald's one. So that's when they brought in. And they said that the Duke bears a striking resemblance to the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
connection that would make sense to children of the 70s who grew up with such movies. So
Sure.
the
Yeah.
Duke, here we go. Hamburglar, he steals burgers, but the Duke doesn't covet foodstuffs. His principal role is to question the king. He's like a villain, a Jacobean drama, lurking in the shadows and plotting against his royal highness. Like they have a picture of Worm Tongue with the king.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of like Worm Tongue. What I find most surprising in this ad campaign is the skepticism and portrayed as a bad thing. Kids are inherently curious, even suspicious. Doubt is a healthy part of a free society. It shouldn't be portrayed as villainous. So Duke of Doubt is like
he is an existential threat.
The Duke of Doubt is basically like he would actually be on the side with the students at the protests. And the Burger King, of course, would be saying like, like trivializing what's going on in the colleges.
I just found a live action shot of Sir Shakes-a-Lot, and he looks.
I don't have a picture of that.
He looks like.
Oh my god!
Who's the bounty hunter that was all bandaged up and everything in Empire Strikes Back?
Oh, Dengar.
Yeah, he looks kind of like Dengar.
Child called him Mummy Man.
Yeah, he looks like Dengar there.
There's the burger thing.
Yeah.
This is like terrible. Well, the burger thing is the only thing that kind of works. Do you have a picture of the fry robot? Those
he is not in that image.
Okay, it's fine. He lives in my imagination. But the burger thing at least kind of has like something going on with the puppetry and cartoonish. Again, even in this photo, Sir Shake-a-Lot is off-putting at best. Don't like him. He needs to be retired immediately. If I was like the lead head of the campaign, like we gotta come up with our own thing. We're getting crushed by McDonald's Playland. What do you guys got? And they're just like, all right, the deadline's 2 weeks. Gotta get the ad out. And they're like, I guess we're going with Sir Shake-a-Lot. Spastic Sir Shake-a-Lot, and the Duke of Doubt, which is a little too esoteric for 4-year-olds that were trying to get each.
You have to go on YouTube and watch the commercials because he says like, I doubt it, like in like a real fancy boy voice.
Well, I love that they brought that up, like children doubt things, so you're actually teaching, which is actually. It's kind of what the churches do. They don't want you to question things.
Right.
So it makes sense. Again, Ronald being a Jesus type figure questions the law, but then the Burger King is like the post it's like the Middle Ages or using the Christian rules with the government.
Yeah.
The evolution. Now, we could do a whole podcast about Roy Rogers, but we're not going to get into that.
Well, let's jump
Roy
back
Rogers
to
salad bar.
We had talked a little bit about
a little bit about
I don't know how we got sidetracked on this, but we were just about to talk about
get sidetracked. Who brought up the Duke of? Oh, I never even heard it before, so I blame you. But
I did. I must have been the Duke of Doubt person.
You were the Duke of Doubt.
But Ron DeSantis, I think we were talking about Ron DeSantis because he is beyond fundraising.
We were going into the whole. Yeah, we were moving on to the next thing. So yeah. But what about Ron DeSantis? Ron
DeSantis has agreed to start raising money, fundraising for Donald Trump, kissing the ring as all Donald Trump's opponents eventually do. And I don't think
I need you, Meatball. Do your Meatball Run thing that you do.
I don't think he wants to be vice president, but I know he wants to remain in good graces. And then Kristi Noem really was thirsty for the vice presidential nod, but she accidentally admitted to shooting a puppy in the face with a shotgun.
So so before we get into that, that was like 20 years ago, right? When she did it.
Yeah, yes. From what I understand, it was a while ago.
It doesn't even matter. She could have done it like.
Doesn't matter if you ever did it.
People the story, like it's so weird. Okay, so there was people were like, "Who the hell is he gonna pick?"
Yep.
They figured everyone just figured he would pick someone like Kristi Noem
Right.
because she aesthetically looks like a Trump woman. Kind
Yes.
of. She's a 10. Corey said that she's really good lay. She
Yeah.
had an affair with Corey Lewandowski.
Yes.
Now people are like, I posted his mugshot and people were like, ew. And I said, yeah, but like if you're in the MAGA world and politicians and you're like female Republican and you're like, I want to get laid and everything.
That's the guy.
What are your
Yeah.
options? It's
Right.
him, Steve Bannon, or Stephen Miller. Corey
Yeah.
Lewandowski now looks like fucking Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
he's
what I
good.
mean? Like
Yep.
the sewer goblins. He's the
Yeah.
one who passes the most for a human. Like, I don't know, you got Walking Gin Blossom, Steve
Mhm.
Bannon, and then you got Pinhead Roger Stone, Steve
Yes.
Miller, who
Yeah.
I don't think is even human.
Bannon looks like an actual cauliflower. Roger
Like,
Stone looks like a 70s era Batman villain.
yep.
And Rudy Giuliani looks like HR Puffin stuff.
That picture of him,
Yeah.
that suit, I was like boxcar hobo chic.
Yeah.
The mayor of Lidsville.
Yeah, right.
The Duke of Doubt.
He does. He looks like
He looks like that. Do you remember
Biden legitimately elected? I doubt it.
Yeah. The Christmas special that was like this really old Christmas special that had like it was either like red skeleton or red buttons, and they were like this hobo clown.
Oh yeah.
I remember. I have vague memories of that. I don't even know what it's
Oh.
called. I just remember watching it as a kid. I swore I've seen it a couple of times.
It was
Probably
Red Skelton, I think.
What?
I think it was Red Skelton.
Yeah. He kind of looks like that now.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
he's in that scene in the end of Pee-wee when he goes to the boxcar hobo and the boxcar hobo brings all his friends to the premiere.
Yeah.
He's with them.
Well, so Kristi Noem, but yeah, she wrote this book, and in the book there's a chapter where she talks about getting a puppy, and the puppy couldn't be trained, so she did the tough thing that needed to be done, and she dragged it into a gravel pit and shot it with a shotgun.
You would think that the sane thing to do would be to surrender the dog to like a non-kill shelter.
Yes.
I don't know what they have in South Dakota. I think the only thing they have is like throw your dog off a cliff or shoot it in the face. I don't know what they might have like a humane society of any kind, like an ASPCA. Sure. They probably got like instant kill shelter where you bring your dog in, they just throw it through like
just a drive-through incinerator.
Yeah, like who knows what the options are there. Yeah. But you would think, okay, so why would she put this in her book? Now, some people think
that's the thing.
So Donald Trump has rotted these people's brains, thinking that again, only Donald Trump can get away with this. And actually, now we're finding out, no, Donald Trump can't get away with these things because he's in fucking
court all the time.
All the fucking time. So guess what, guys? No, Trump can't get away with these things. I mean, we don't know yet, but by the time it's done, hopefully we find out what he can get, what he can't. But these people, they get emboldened, these shitty Republicans, and they think like, well, I can come off like a piece of shit, and I'll be rooted on like a hero. And it's like, no, it only works for Trump. Trump can say dog, and people would think he was kidding. Right. Oh, that's Trump. He's funny. You're not funny at all, Kristi. No. There's nothing funny about you.
No.
Literally, I can't think of anything funny about her. She seems like a repulsive person. She's sending troops fucking what was it? Troops to the border. Like
grotesque. She does these weird commercials. She's doing commercials for like Botox places in Texas.
That's bizarre.
That's just bizarre. That's unhinged.
Yeah.
Stuff. Her daughter tried to take a real estate exam and failed it like 5 times, so she changed the state law, like because her kid couldn't pass like a how to sell a house.
The only law it's just for her daughter though. No one else.
I mean that's it.
So Yeah, she said she shot a dog. It was a puppy, but it's like
Yep.
you couldn't get someone to adopt it. She claimed like it was unruly. And you think, okay, what would be the normal thing to do? Would you move
Take it
on
to a
from it?
vet, euthanize it or whatever.
Well, whatever. Like, no, even that's ridiculous. It's like a puppy. Like, unless it's like killing people or biting,
Right. Yeah.
bit your kid's arm and like that's a different story. But like it was just from the story, it sounded like the dog was just not a good hunting dog.
Yeah.
Got excited, so whatever she wanted to kill got away.
Right.
That's why she had to kill that dog. Now, there's a couple things about this. You ever heard of like, and I don't know if this is a thing, Christian dominionism?
Yes. Yeah.
So I looked it up. It's an actual thing. I didn't just make it up in my head.
Yep.
And it's basically like God has given like everything was given to us. We are
You have
the
dominion over the earth.
dominion over the earth. That's why they're usually anti-environmental. It kind of
Yep.
also feeds into that prosperity gospel. It doesn't. When you look into it, you're like, wow, this actually kind of goes against everything that Christianity
Yeah.
supposedly. It goes against all the teachings that Ronald McDonald told
Right.
the
Right.
McDonald's land.
Yes.
It goes again. It contradicts everything that I learned from
Right.
and but yeah, so like of course she has every right to kill this creature. This creature was supposed to serve her and it failed.
Yep. Yeah.
So
That's their
what
view.
do you-
Yeah.
so I guess like Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire was like defending her or whatever. He's trying to like
Hmm.
defend her. And I tweeted a thing. I said that this guy, like, he's just like a failed actor that got a gig on the
Yeah.
Daily. I don't believe he believes in anything. I think they give him like a script and they're probably like, he's kind of like the bottom rung of it. So they're like, how do okay, we're going to defend Kristi Noem, but we can't have like the big guns come out and do it right away. We're
Right.
going to test it. So we're going to have
Test the
Michael
water.
come out. Everyone thinks he's nuts anyway because we give him all
Right.
dialogue. And we'll see how it works with him. And then we'll have Ben put out a video in like a week and see, But I feel like it didn't work. So.
It did not work.
But like people, all parties, all politics love dogs.
Yeah. They do. People like dogs.
There's a reason why on Independence Day, when the city explodes, they blow up the Empire State Building and the rest of the city starts to blow up. The golden retriever somehow survives.
Yeah.
You can't kill the fucking dog.
Yeah. Well, and even people that subscribe to that, like, they know, like, you shouldn't shoot a puppy. It's sad that you'd even
Now,
have
it
to say
wasn't like it is a 14-month-old dog.
Yeah.
Not saying it's correct, but like,
I mean, like, yeah,
little puppy that she just blew.
but still, this is just like it's amazing to me that like she wrote it down. It went through the editing process. It went through revisions. I'm assuming she gave it copies to her family to read or her advisors or whatever. And no one in her orbit
The
said
dog thing was the best part of the book. That's why we kept it.
Yeah.
The book was so boring.
No one in her orbit said like we shouldn't share this thing about how you shot a puppy. And even worse than that, honestly, is like she went home and saw a goat. She didn't like the way it smelled, so she shot it. Didn't kill it the first time, and it was like injured, and she had to shoot it again. And then like the next day, she put down 3 horses because they weren't strong enough to work anymore.
He's on a fucking rampage.
Looking grotesque.
It's like a reverse Dr. Doolittle.
Even those hardcore MAGA chuds that have like a horse or two, whatever, they don't kill their horses when they're done. They put them out to pasture, let them like live out their lives. I mean, like that's like the only thing good you can say about a lot of MAGA folk.
I also have another
like dogs.
I have another theory though. I bet you she didn't do any of that.
Oh, you said this, yeah. You said she had like the help do it.
It wouldn't shock me if she had the help do it.
Yeah.
Claim she did it, so she looks like a badass in the book.
I can see that.
She had the fun. She's the type of person that would invite people over her house, have a meal, and then she takes credit for the meal, even though it was like, people in her kitchen making
Yeah.
Right. She's one of those fucking people. It wouldn't shock me one bit. Now again, she's still a piece of shit either way. She's proud if it's true or not that she personally shot this dog and killed it. What I love about this though is we talked about this before. Remember back in the day, classic that guy from Virginia whose whole career was destroyed, George Allen.
Yep.
The word macaca.
Yeah.
And I feel like Republicans have been getting away with murder for years.
Oh, yep. Ever since, yeah.
Ever since. Like they've gone like they could say whatever the fuck they want. But in this instance, it's finally like, no, you're done. Your political career is done. Now,
Yeah.
will Trump pick her still?
No, I don't
It
think
wouldn't
so.
shock me if he still did, if he's desperate and he can't think of anyone else. But I think what are you gonna do? You're gonna have campaign ad of like a woman shooting a dog, killing
For
puppies.
in every category, Nancy Mace is the better
Oh,
Kristi
Nancy
Noem.
Mace is a fucking joke. No way.
Yeah, but
Has her
Kristi
name
Noem
been
isn't.
thrown around?
I don't think so, but
Oh,
I would say
I have not heard
I
anything
would say
about
Nancy Mace over Kristi Noem.
that. You're the first person I haven't seen one mention of that. No way.
I would not be stunned, but
Yeah, I doubt it. That's
well, another one that this is the third
well,
one
hold
on
on. I didn't get there yet, but like so like I said, it's like another thing too is like, okay, let's say he did pick her and this whole gun thing, the whole shooting the dog thing never came out or whatever. What political advantage is there to pick her? She
yeah,
doesn't what?
that's the other thing I was going to say about Nancy
Oh.
Mace is you're right. Kristi Noem is identical to Trump.
No,
Kristi
but
Noem,
I'm not talking about Nancy Mace. I'm talking about Kristi Noem. What does Kristi Noem bring to Trump? South Dakota is gonna go to Trump no matter
yeah,
what. And what is it like 2-3 electoral votes? It's not like
yes.
it's like one of the most inconsequential states.
Well, and Kristi Noem's positions are identical to Donald Trump's. The advantage with Nancy Mace is she's a little softer on abortion.
I've never heard you're the first. Have you
No,
have you
I'm not even
no one's
I'm not
floating
like
around?
I'm not. No, I haven't read it anywhere. I'm just saying that like Nancy Mace makes more sense to me. I think it's probably going to be JD Vance, but Nancy
Okay.
Mace makes more sense to me than Kristi Noem.
Well, the Kristi Noem thing's done.
Yeah,
That's
now
it.
it is.
I mean,
Yeah,
even Trump knows that, like, you
yeah.
can't put a dog murderer on the team. And
Can't put
again,
it.
like, you would just have, they would just, Democrats could just run super PACs, whatever, could
Be
just run
brutal.
ads, really funny, fucked up ads of
Yeah.
like, her killing dogs, and like her
Yeah.
as Cruella DeVille and all that shit. Like, just, you know, like, this woman has no problem killing dogs. Think she has, what do you think
Yeah.
she's gonna do to you? You know,
Right.
like,
Yeah. What do you care about?
Donald
She'll
Trump
kill it.
hates dogs. He picked a woman that kills dogs as
Yeah.
and I do it again.
No, I think JD Vance is probably the most likely vice president candidate currently.
Dogs.
He does, but he
smells.
Yeah, I'll bet he smells like apple juice that's been out too long.
Like turned apple juice.
Yeah, like
apple juice and sweat stains.
Yeah, exactly.
Armpit
Like
apple juice.
sour apple juice. Yeah,
musky armpit chicken soup.
right. Like apple juice prison wine day 2. You know, so like smells like humid diaper.
Baby shit from eating all that applesauce.
He is particularly awful, I think. I mean, JD Vance, he's the one we talked about him earlier where he was talking Caitlin Collins had a rare great interview with him where she kind of got him to say how all the college protesters should be in jail because they destroyed property. And then she's like, well,
I could find the clip. That's
you've
pretty
been on the record saying that we should free the January 6th people. He's like, wow, that's different, blah, blah. You know, it's just, I don't know. He's just an awful.
Let me see if I can find a clip from that because it's really funny.
Yeah, as you're looking for that, I will say, I think Trump's going to make his decision based on the abortion thing. He's got to find someone who's a little soft on abortion. If you've ever said,
what's the woman's name?
The
interviewer,
Caitlin Collins, I'm pretty sure.
Caitlin. No, I'll just write Collins.
Yeah, Collins Vance, right?
Oh, here we go. All right, I got it.
You can't police, but you can't police people for being anti-Israel or pro-Israel. You can police people for violating the law, and we have seen some of that with some of these protests.
Okay, so you agree that people who break in and vandalize a building should be prosecuted?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just checking because you did help raise money for people who did so on January 6th, which was, impeding an official proceeding, breaking into a building that they weren't allowed to be in, and vandalizing the Capitol.
Well, Caitlin, I know that this is the obsession of the national media to talk about what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago on January 6th.
It's
as
not
opposed to
obsession.
talk about
I'm just seeing if it's a double standard.
No, let me
Obsession.
answer the question, Caitlin.
You're
Here's my
namby-pamby
basic point about
January 6th.
6th. If you beat up a cop, of course you deserve to
All
go to
right.
prison. If you
So she got him. He's a schmuck. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not him either. I could see Trump being like, I don't like him. His bad optics. He sucks. Like,
Well,
I couldn't see. I mean, the only reason why is because you want to keep like Ohio, maybe. Like, you want to hope, like,
yeah,
but is he popular in Ohio? Like, I don't even know.
he
like,
won. He won
yeah,
election.
it's only been like it'll be 2 years by.
He looks a lot like Trump, like what Trump wants to look like. He's younger. He's got a beard. He's kind of intellectual. I don't believe any of those things. I mean, I do believe he has a beard, but like, he solves
smells
some,
like rancid applesauce.
he solves some. Yeah, that will cover up my fart smell.
Yeah, people be like, "Oh, that's just JD Vance's breath. That's not my farts."
I think JD Vance solves some of Trump's problems. The only thing is JD Vance is like 100% against abortion and wants to like have women's pregnancies monitored by the state. I think Trump is going to be real tempted to pick someone a little softer on abortion.
I feel like he would pick somebody. I mean, I don't believe that because when he ran in 2016, he picked somebody who was worse on abortion.
That could be, yeah, because he could.
I don't think they give a shit. I don't think. I think
Trump gives us a shit strategically.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely thinking about it.
They win. It'll be one of the weirdest, most corrupt. Like, who the fuck knows? The whole thing's kind of frightening. But I could see him pick. I could see him intentionally picking a woman. The woman could be the most hard right anti-abortion person, but it's a woman, so it checks the boxes, and it'll be enough to have this crazy bitch that he picks to go against Kamala Harris on stage.
Yeah.
And like there's people who think he's gonna pick like Tulsi Gabbard, which I think that ain't happening.
No.
That woman is a fucking creep. I think that if they picked her, there'd be so much shit that would come out about her that like
he's better off with Kyle Rittenhouse's mom.
I'm fine with that. I think he should pick Kyle Rittenhouse's mom for the VP. Kamala Harris being interviewed, and Rittenhouse's mom's like, "Well, God darn it, I'm the egg lady from the John Waters movies."
Yeah, oof. All right, so
John Waters, he picks her.
This is a good transition to the Arizona thing. Arizona voted today to repeal that Civil War era prohibition of abortion.
The governor.
Yeah, it was the governor, but
the
Senate passed it a few days ago. Anyway, it went to the governor's desk and she signed it. And so now I'm unsure of what their abortion law is. It may still be a pretty restrictive one, but it's not the one from the 1800s. So, yeah.
Well, again, elections have consequences.
Yeah.
They work in your favor or against your favor. And I would say this is one that works in the progressives' favor.
Oh, 100%.
And maybe it'd be a good idea if you just keep voting for progressives and not, fall for bullshit.
Yeah. Some people were saying that they kind of wished that they hadn't repealed that law so quickly because it would have been good. But I think the Democrats.
Yeah, but now you could run on it too.
Yeah.
You could run on it and say we voted
it.
against it. We're gonna make sure to vote us in so we can get, give us a majority in the state house and the state senate, and we'll get rid of and we'll put in 100% rights. You know what I mean? Like you could work off of it too, because if you don't do it, then you're like dangling a fucking carrot.
Right. And
some people could be like, this is bullshit. You're never gonna fucking do this. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna use the wedge issue for the dick. So no, it shows that they did action, but like you said, it's still not 100%.
Yeah.
So I guess they still have that. But
Yeah.
I think it works in the favor, showing like, hey, you know, the reason why we're able to get rid of this is because we have a Democratic governor
Hmm.
who's pro-choice and pro, you know, women's
Yeah.
health, human rights, and everything. So, um, it's a good thing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
You know what else is a good thing? Hunter Biden said he's going to sue Fox unless they do a series of retractions. And they say within an hour of him announcing that, Fox pulled like 6 hours worth of content from their online library.
Wasn't there like some documentary?
Yeah.
Some
I guess they had a
reenactment movie they were
mock
gonna do?
trial where they put Hunter Biden on trial.
The Hunter Biden thing is so insane.
Yeah.
It's like Biden doesn't, and it's what's great about him suing is because he is pretty much a private citizen,
Yeah.
not part of the Biden administration.
No.
He's not being sent to, he's not Jared and Ivanka being
Nope.
sent to the Middle East to help get peace.
Completely 100% a private citizen. These lawsuits terrify them. I didn't realize this. The
Defamation. I've been like attacking this man for like a decade now.
well, the Dominion suit was settled, but there's still like another huge lawsuit coming up against Fox for like $7 billion
Good.
from
Fuck
a
'em.
different
Put them
company.
out of business. Make it that they're not profitable. Put them out
Yeah.
of business. Make it that someone has to buy it, and then all of a sudden they become a fucking progressive.
Well, I'll tell you what else happens is if you start getting sued like this all the time, then you can't find insurance.
Yeah.
No,
Right?
nobody's going to insure you. You have to carry insurance. Otherwise, you're coming out of pocket on all this. No one's going to insure you if you hire like fucking Janet Pierman, you know, or whatever her name is. Nobody's going to, if you're putting Tucker Carlson on the air every night and letting him lie for 90 minutes straight, then people are not going to insure you. It becomes a big problem.
Good. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get them where it hurts. They're a fucking business. They're huge money making operation. Very profitable. Besides spreading right wing propaganda that benefits the GOP and the people in it, because it's a revolving door. Like, look at Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was a Fox from the Fox News, like I don't know, intern pool or something. I first saw her on TV on Fox, like giving like reviews or whatever. I was like, oh God, who is this horrible person? And then when she gets a job at in the Trump administration as the White House press.
Yeah.
It was literally a revolving door. And I remember I told you, I was at one time I watched Fox, I was stuck at a car dealership or whatever. I was waiting and I watched it, and she was on there. This was around the time they were doing the tax scam, and they were talking to her like they're buddies. They're all friends with each other. This was like, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? This is so
I
weird.
thought she was the Burger Thing. You know, they're bringing the ad campaign back. She looks just like the Burger Thing.
She's the Burger Thing. She's her Shakes a Lot or the Duke of Doubt.
Well, yeah. All right. So
hopefully
hopefully
the Burger Thing.
I hope Hunter is not satisfied with what they did and sues them.
No, I mean, it's great. I mean, again, he's a private citizen, and they've
Yeah.
been using him as like a
punching
campaign
bag.
tool
Yeah.
for years. They bring up Hunter Biden all the fucking time. These motherfuckers commit crimes left and right, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm not Hunter Biden, no." And they'll be like,
all these Republicans were like,
"What does
the
Hunter
red-
Biden have to do with this?"
the red line is if the Congress wants to talk about Jared or Ivanka, that's his family, that's a red line. You can't. And then they spend the next 4 years saying, "Where's Hunter?" You know, I mean,
And
like
the funny thing is, one of the things they bring up, they'll bring up like, "Oh, Biden uses his influence, so he sells his paintings or something." I'm like, all you motherfuckers do that. All of you do that. You don't use your power or whatever, get your kids a gig. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? This is like, they're just hoping the people that watch this stuff are dumb. And they usually are.
They often are. Yeah.
They often are, because that's why it keeps working.
Well, there's two stories left. The first was real a quick one. I almost was tempted to talk about this early on with the AI stuff and the pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
Spotify is making record profits, and they are making record profits against the backdrop of like firing 10% of their workforce. And they demonetized any artist with fewer than like 1,000 streams a month or something.
If I was one of those artists, I'd pull my shit down then.
Yeah, well, there was someone put up a bunch of bands where the artists had been streaming less than 1,000 per month. Well, they were like bands you heard of before. I'm gonna make one up. It wasn't like the Minutemen, but it was like that kind of band where you're like, yeah, that's a big band. A lot of people have heard of them. I could see them streaming less than 1,000 a month. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't think a lot of people are playing the Minutemen on Spotify. Maybe that's a bad example, but it was bands like that. Like,
I got you. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, they might have a following or like that, but they just don't generate like.
right. And so maybe like you are getting like 800-900 streams a month. Maybe you're like a regional band or a local band or like a band that had a record out like years ago, and you're still touring, you're still doing anyway. They're getting demonetized. It's just this bullshit. I hate
That is
Spotify.
bullshit.
Fucking garbage company.
Spotify garbage. And what did they do? They gave Joe Rogan, who's
Yeah.
absolutely horrible, one of the worst fucking people out there. They gave him $250 million. Now, I think there was some confusion. I said that like they allowed him to go out and show his show on like YouTube now and stuff like that. But
Yes.
I think they own his content, so they're the one. So they paid him the money. He's not making, I mean, he might make extra in it, I don't know. But they're the ones, so when they put it on YouTube, whatever, they're the ones collecting the money, actually. It's not Joe Rogan now being like, oh, I
Right.
got paid all this money and I can independently make extra money on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
considered a Spotify content. But again, that's what I have to say about that fucking company is that they're trash because if you have no problem putting out this show to this day puts out anti-vaccinate, like,
Yep.
anti-vaxxer misinformation. That's you. That you're you know what I mean? Like Spotify is a anti-vaxxer company, as far as I know,
Yeah.
because
That's
they
what
have
they
no
promote.
problem with that bullshit being spewed every day.
Well, they pay for it. They
They
pay
for it. It's their
yeah.
content. They own it.
They won't pay for these, these bands that have like relatively few
And what would they
streams.
be paying them? Let's say they get 1,000 streams. What do they make? Like
Yeah.
$1 from it? Spotify can't fucking pay that. Jesus.
Yeah, it's not even that much, but
I don't
anyways,
understand that. Like, how do you have all this fucking money to give Joe Rogan, but you can't fucking pay?
I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how that's legal. Like we're just gonna take your music then, you know.
It's
I would
bullshit.
have thought.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's bullshit. Like, I have videos on YouTube. I do a show on YouTube,
Mhm.
and I'm just getting close to 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
every day I itch closer, but I don't think I have ads yet. But I've had ads on my videos before. Like if you stream over,
Right.
and it sucks because I can't I'm not eligible to make a dime on YouTube until I
Yeah.
have
See.
over 1,000 subscribers. But but Spotify going back now and doing that to bands is bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, again, like what were they paying? Let's say they get like 500 streams. What is that? I mean, I don't even know what's that, like 20 cents? Like Spotify can't pay that? Like, what the fuck?
It
man?
is. It's just stupid. So they probably determined that it would cost them more to do the accounting on it than it would to, I don't know. Well, who knows how they did it?
It's still bullshit either way. I mean, it's just they're taking advantage. And like I said, it's like we know where they put their money in and what they invest in. And what they invest in is shit.
Well, speaking of bullshit, let's bring us to our last item, which is the China Tesla truck.
The actual good Tesla truck?
Yeah, it's like a knockoff. It's like a Temu Tesla. And it looks good. I mean, it actually has design. It looks better designed. Some of the edges are a little softer. The little accents are nice on it. It's got kind of like a Jiffy Pop truck bed hood.
It looks more like a truck. It looks like a futuristic truck.
Yeah,
looks
no,
safer.
I don't know if it works. I don't know if it runs or who knows anything about the details, but it's just funny that like they put out a truck like that, and it does legitimately look better.
I mean, I would feel safer driving that thing than the fucking Cybertruck.
Yeah.
You see that guy who went off-roading with his Cybertruck and it destroyed it?
I don't know if I saw the one you're talking about, but I did see one
Like
like
the
that.
tire went one way and the other tire went the other way.
Yeah, it looked like the wheel axle
The
split
whole
or
thing was
something.
completely busted. So what's fucked up is it's like this car is so poorly made,
Yeah.
and they're telling the people who bought it, like, well, if you want to do this, you got to pay for the upgrade kit, like
Right,
something
right.
protects the battery more, but it still doesn't guarantee that you could go off-roading with your Cybertruck. This
Or
thing
get it
should legally
washed.
not be allowed to be called a truck.
Yeah. There's probably right?
I don't know. It's just really dumb. This is great video of this guy. I guess they did send an update on the Cybertruck, like
Yeah.
patch. And it's supposed to have like better sensors now on like the trunk so that it detects like your hands there, so it doesn't
Right.
down. So this guy who owns one, clearly like a Elon Stan or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, he puts his hand in there first, pinches down a little bit, it stops. He's like, okay. He's like, now I'm just gonna put my hand in there, like my fingers. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why he felt the need he had to do this. And then he just puts his one finger
Oh
in, and
God.
almost
Almost severs it.
it almost severs it off. And I'd say this is a grown man's hand. I don't know if it's big or small, whatever. But imagine if that was a fucking
Yeah,
child.
child.
That would
Who is
take the
much more
digits
likely to
right
have their
off.
hand there. Yeah.
It's so I can't believe this fucking guy, like this shit is legal in
Mhm.
any way. It's amazing. Like he's like made it, it's like a cult.
Oh yeah.
These
Yeah.
people, like I said, there should be like a class action lesson. There's this guy said that'll never happen. These people are like in a cult. They worship Elon. If you ever criticize him or like that, people will say like he's trying to make blind people be able to see. He's
Yeah.
doing this. What have you done? What have you done? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about?
The first
Is
thing
that the
they
new
did,
grift? He's gonna
yeah.
get blind people. What?
First thing they did was got rid of people just like the Duke of Doubt.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't.
That was the first thing. The first thing Elon did when he took over Twitter, got rid of the Duke of Doubt.
Well, you're right. It is like a cult, and like it's just a lot of people believing he can do no wrong, and he routinely does things wrong. So
I don't know. So I welcome the China Cybertruck.
yeah,
I
me
hope they
too.
get it to market. I hope it's probably a piece of shit also, but I bet you'll be a better piece of shit
I bet you
than.
it's cheaper.
Oh yeah, it's probably half the price. It
Yeah.
probably works better.
Yep.
The design alone looks like it would
Oh
work.
yeah, much nicer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, is it like they said, like, are you gonna ever have that affordable car? And it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're working on it, the Tesla.
Right.
And you brought up, probably wrap this up. You brought up the thing about the Abbott, like giving him this huge tax cut to move
Oh
Tesla
yeah. He
to
moved
Texas.
put something up in Austin, hired a bunch of people, took a bunch of tax cuts, took a bunch of money to relocate, and then within a few months he had fired most of those people, laid them off.
Yeah,
To
it's bullshit.
grift.
And,
Yeah.
and what's his face is gonna get? He's not gonna ask for that money back. Abbott
No.
probably
We'll
in
just
on it.
write it off.
He's
Yeah.
probably in on it.
Yeah,
Right?
it probably is like a yeah.
It's probably an escrow account for Abbott waiting
Mhm.
somewhere. So when he's done, he gets,
Yeah. So
shockingly.
something like that. Or it went to a buddy of his or something, whatever.
Silicon Valley, which you never watch, was such a good show. You
Yeah, I've
ever
heard that's
watch
real
it?
good.
Yeah, but I don't know. You don't like good TV, so you're too busy watching After Hours.
Yeah.
What's that show called again? Big Brother.
Big Brother, yeah, Big
What
Brother
are they,
after hours.
what are they getting out of the fridge? I need to see this. Oh, they're taking a shower. Let me watch.
Hmm.
Well, in Silicon Valley, there was this guy who's like, he's like the villain of the show.
Uh,
I don't know how to describe it. He's like the established rich douchebag.
yeah,
And he wants to move a factory to like South Carolina or whatever, some
sure.
town in the middle of nowhere. And he demands all this shit from the town to move a factory there.
Yeah.
And the town just like basically gives up every resource to have him in there. And it's like, you watch and you're like, oh, this guy's a prick and everything. And then you realize, no, this is what happens all the fucking time.
Yeah. It's gross.
This is what Amazon tried to do in New York years ago. Remember that? They wanted to get campus, and the AOC was like, dude, why give these fucking guys this insane tax cut? Fuck this.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I think if you get, I mean, I don't know, there should be like a provision there. It's like, well, we gave this huge tax cut, and now you're laying off people.
They should do it. Yeah, they should do it like most of these things do it, where like you don't get a tax cut, you get a rebate, and you start getting those rebates on year 5, right? Like something like that.
After you have an established company and the employees are there and they're making money and haven't done any layoffs or anything like that.
Yeah,
but that's not going to happen because Elon's fully entrenched in the MAGA world, and so is Abbott. So they're good old boys. They're not gonna.
That's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
All right. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. We'll be back next week. Should be excited. We'll have more Trump trial news. Should be good.
Farting in court.
Yeah. Well, hopefully another great episode of the X-Men. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Hopefully, the stuff in the colleges don't escalate.
Yes,
more.
hopefully. Right.
Again, I feel like at this point, it's not the protesters that are escalating it.
Right. It's the police. Police.
Yeah, the politicians and like. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.